Welcome to Sunday Night with Old Time Radio, 11 August 2024. We begin tonight's broadcast by returning to the golden age of comedy, narrated by George Burns. We then follow with 2 more episodes of Frankenstein. Then we have a Western, Have Gun, Will Travel. We move on to Academy Award Theater, where they introduce us to One Sunday Afternoon. Next up is Barry Craig, Investigator, with Midsummer Lunacy. And then Escape, Two Came Back. We are also, at the close of our broadcast, we're introducing a new series called Russia House. Tonight we just give the first 4 minutes or so of this series. Each episode is about 45 minutes in length, if I'm not mistaken, and we'll be running them consecutively over the next few weeks. If I'm, again, not mistaken, there are 7 episodes that we'll be presenting. We hope that you will enjoy these very well-crafted dramas. Russia House takes us back to the time when Russia was still the Soviet Union.
Almost anyone can get a laugh from a great script. Being funny on the spur of the moment is a lot tougher. No one is better at that than Jonathan Winters.
All right, you people. I want you to fall in. Right now. I'll take a rundown of some of these names here. Here's a guy. I guess is trying to be some kind of clown. He just put down gorilla. That's you, fella? I made a terrible mistake. You don't have to go to the rifle range today. But I would shave.
Hello, you little dears. Don't do that, Marty. I want to welcome you to Marty Frickert's little nursery school. Now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to make animals with our clay. You know, normally I would throw that back at you. I think I will anyway. You little devil. Hey, keep your hands to yourself. And keep that clay on your table. First thing I'm gonna make is a bunny. You all watch me here now. And then I put on its ears and its tail. There. That's a bunny. Now the rest of you hold up yours. Oh. I don't understand this class. You've made weird things. Dismiss.
What is it, stewardess?
Listen. You're not gonna believe this. Some cat put a heck of a big iron thing in my back and said we're going to Havana.
Oh, no. Well, Fred? Oh, wait a minute. Fred, put that down now. There's no time to be sipping on that stuff up here at 36,000 feet.
I'm afraid. Turbulence made me kind of irpy.
Knock it off. What's the gas say there? Huh? What does the gas say? Yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess we're going to... I don't know how to tell the people this. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe if I muffle it, they... we're supposed to go to Helena, Montana. But, We thought we'd go to Cuba first.
By the way, here's Leonard Barr, a one-line comedian, who also happens to be Dean Martin's uncle. I threw that in. I thought maybe Dean needed a little plug.
Good evening. How do you like me so far? When I got in town, I got off on the wrong foot. I got in a cab as a lady cab driver. She said, how far would you like to go? My case comes up Tuesday. I had the worst luck. I taught my dog to eat by the sound of the bell. He ate the Avon lady. I even gave up LSD. I saw Ted Mack in leotards. And I should do an act with a gorilla. He ran away with my wife. I sure miss that monkey. You're a great audience. Wish I had a better act. It's a beautiful place. This is one place you can eat dirt cheap. And the waitress says, they know all the answers. I said, what's this fly doing in my soup? She says, backstrokes. I said, bring me a steak and a few kind words. She brought me the steak. I said, what are the kind words? She says, don't eat the steak. I said, take it back, tell the chef to shove it down his throat. Chicken back. Said, I'm sorry, sir, but the 2 orders of lamb chops ahead of yours. I said, tell me, you got frog legs? She said, yes, I do. I said, hop in the kitchen and get me some coffee. I said, is your ice cream pure? She says, pure as a girl with you, so I had pie. I didn't used to do nothing. Not easy doing nothing. You never know when you're finished. Well, a couple of girls tried to pick me up today. They were sitting in the car. I walked by. I heard one of them say, get him. You're laughing, huh? You ever see me in the movies? I go quite often. You realize I can get any girl I please? So far, I haven't pleased anybody. I was dancing with her. I noticed she kept getting taller and taller. Later on, I found out she had a wooden leg. I was spinning her the wrong way. I got the next joke. You people don't know it. I just got back from Italy. I did a movie with Sophia Loren. We do a wild love scene, but you got to get there early because I don't last too long.
Norm Crosby is one of the all-time masters of word scrambling.
Thank you very much. Good evening. That's a delightful group. I'll tell you what, we have kind of a house policy here at the Copacabana. We attract for our dinner show a very dignitary, intellectual, upper echelon, astute, circumvented group. Tonight I think we have reached the epitome of conjunction. Tonight we have assembled people of flux, people like yourselves, of perversion, and people who just seem to reek chic that excludes from you, that is redundant. Do you feel it? Anybody? Look at the lovely ladies up in the corner. Beautiful. The men who are neatly groomed and meticulously retired, smug and complacent. You ladies are resplendent in your raiment. Your accoutrements just seem to hang off you. And we're very happy that you came here. And I think it's a shame, if we're going to talk truthfully like friends, if we can establish a rapport between each other, where we can discuss intelligent things like ladies and gentlemen without fear of contraception, because I believe in this. I think it's a shame that the same men who sit beside you girls with courteousness and aplomb, these are the same guys when nobody's looking, in the intimacy of your homes, that push you into the subjunctive and give you retard and do not raise you to the pinnacle where you're supposed to go. They put you on a pedestal. So what? That's no place for you. Why should any man put a woman on a pedestal? A woman's basic function is to procreate the race. Isn't that right? And a pedestal is not the place. You can't do nothing like that up in a pedestal. You could slip, you could kill yourself. Girls, am I right? Certainly.
There seems to be no end to everyday problems. One of the most serious situations in the country today is alcohol addiction. The social commentator on this is Woody Woodbury.
I like those positive thinking stories. Here's a fine story about positive thinking. This couple's married 20 years. Every night the husband comes home stiffer than a new broom. After 20 years of this, his poor wife has had it right up to here. She's had the course. She's waiting up for him one morning. He comes stumbling in. She looked at him. She said, "Frank, this is it. I've had it. 20 years we've been married, and every night you come home drunk, look at you there, you bum. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. I've had it." He said, "Well, what are you going to do about it?" She says, "I'll tell you what I'm going to do about it. I'm going to show you how stupid and ignorant you really look." So she reached up in the kitchen cabinet and pulled down a fifth, poured herself a triple hooker, this much raw booze, and gulped it bottoms up. Now, this lovely woman never had a drink before in her life, and this 100-proof whiskey got down about here and like to set the poor girl afire. She dropped the glass, fell to the floor, coughing, writhing, fuming, almost choked to death. Finally looked up at him. She said, "Good heavens, Frank, how can you stand that vile stuff?" He said, "See, I thought I was out having a good time every night, didn't you?"
We must realize that you and I are not alone in our frustrations. Picture the problems that beset a dignified and famous judge. Here Frank Gallup called upon the foreman of the jury, Lou Jacoby, for a verdict.
This court will please come to order. Mr. Rabinowitz, you are the foreman of the jury. Have you reached a verdict?
Judge, Your Honor, we have been listening to the facts in this case for 6 weeks, and it has been a wonderful experience for us all. We, the jury, would like to thank you for the way you have conducted this case.
Thank you, Mr. Rabinowitz. But the verdict, please.
Certainly, Your Honor. We, the jury, Mr. Cohen, Mr. Fine, Mr. Landsberg, the lovely Mrs. Berkowitz.
Thank you, Mr. Rabinowitz.
You're welcome.
Mr. Rabinowitz, the verdict.
Coming, Your Honor. Mr. Goldberg, Mr. Katz, Mr. Stein, Mrs. Cantor, Mr.
I'm not lovely.
The lovely Mrs. Cantor. Lovely.
Mr. Rabinowitz.
Mr. Finkelstein, Mr. Bloom, and Mr. Pincus the Furrier. Your Honor, the 12 of us have spent the past 4 days in the jury room debating this case. And we examined the evidence pro and con, and backwards and forwards, to decide in the American way, did he or didn't he do it?
Mr. Rabinowitz, the verdict, and now.
Immediately, Your Honor. We, the jury, after careful deliberation on this case, have decided we shouldn't make spin.
Comedy likes to look at the problems that you and I come up against every day. For example, old lonesome George Goebel. George has cast himself as the born loser.
Not too long ago, I was working in Reno, Nevada, and I'd worked there 3 or 4 times in the same store or club. It was a hotel, is what it was. And so there was no reason to be very nervous, but I mean, opening night, I am walking back and forth 3 hours before the show. You know, I was really nervous, and I'm wringing my hands and the whole thing, and so I figured the best thing to do was start getting ready, you know, because that'll give me something to do. So I come out of the shower, and I didn't have any clothes on, see? But, you know, that's not what made me nervous. Now, that didn't bother me at all, because I take showers like that all the time, you know. I find that it's neater that way, actually, you know, so... Come out of the shower, and like I say, I didn't have any clothes on, and I'm walking around the room there without any clothes on. It's my room, right? That's right. So I walk around, and I'm walking around and walking around, and then the room was kind of steamed up, and I figured if I would open a window, that would be a pretty shrewd move right there. So I go over to open this window. Now, for anybody else, they go over with 2 fingers, and they go like this, and the window goes that way. No chance for me. No way that window's going to open. I get over there, and I'm fighting that window, and it won't open, and I'm dripping wet, you know, and I get my foot up on the windowsill like this, you know. And I'm really fighting that window like that, and I do about 6 minutes right there in the window, you know. And like I say, not stitch one did I have on. I'm standing in the window, and I'm doing all this time, and I don't even know if I'm getting any laughs. You know, I'm just standing there. And then all of a sudden, and please don't ask me why, because I'll never be able to tell, but all of a sudden the window just goes like that, and my foot's... And my room was on the 9th floor, too. Now, the fall didn't particularly bother me. It was that walk back through the lobby.
Here's Murray Amsterdam, who has a fine comedy mind. Here he is toasting the Toastmaster General, Georgie Jessel.
Well, thank you. As you know, tonight, Georgie Jessel is our guest of honor, what little he has left. Jessel is a man I have known since the bad old days. It's true, when I was a youngster in Chicago, that's when we first met. I was just starting in show business, and he gave me some advice about women. What else? He said, when they look young, they're old. When they look old, they're young, and if they look back, follow them. That's what I do. It's true, though, that Georgie is always trying to help new talent. Many a pretty young girl singer he has given a pat on the back, or something in that vicinity. People kid George a lot about going out with young girls. Why not? Where else they going to learn? George, I got to tell you, for a fellow your age, you're certainly well preserved. Maybe preserved isn't the word. Pickled. Not that I'm intimating that George drinks, but he recently took a blood test and the doctors offered him $60 a case. Getting back to George being a talent scout for a second, you know, today the big thing in the entertainment business are belly dancers and folk singers. Georgie just got a group together of folk singing belly dancers. He calls them the Hooten Family. Don't miss them. It's a wonderful group. And incidentally, Georgie only stays in show business because he loves it. Is that right? He needs this like Raquel Welch needs a mustache cup. There's a lot of little businesses going for him on the side. He recently opened a place in New Jersey, the manufacturing maternity clothes for teenagers in their school colors. What kind of a man is Georgie Jessel? Ladies and gentlemen, Georgie Jessel can count his friends on his thumb. He's a little hard to describe. It's kind of, well, like trying to explain a cigar butt in an old maid's bedroom. Nobody ever tells you about the wonderful things that Georgie does for his friends. That's because he doesn't do very much. Although recently at a Boy Scout jamboree in Chicago, he was a very big help to the youth of our country. He sat there for 3 days with a sign under him that says, "Don't let this happen to you." And I got to thank you, George, for being so nice to me. I was coming here to the dinner. Wouldn't you know it? Gave me a police escort in from the airport. You think it's easy running between two motorcycles? Well, it's fun kidding a fellow that you love. We all love Georgie because he's a one-of-a-kind. Personally, I think one Georgie Jessel is enough. But thank goodness, George, we're living in an era that knows you. A toast to George Jessel. May the rest of your life be the best of your life. God bless you.
So comedy laughs at us and with us. It aims for the stuffed shirt, and it's only funny when it hits the target. Just because a man becomes president doesn't mean the humorists aren't gonna poke a little fun at him. David Fry succeeds in humbling 2 presidents in a single routine.
Well, I certainly hope that Lyndon's at home.
4 o'clock in the morning. Where else would he be? I still say we should have called first.
Pat, I considered the options, and after much thought, I made a decision. A dime is a dime. Ring the bell. Make a note that Bell has got to go. Now, Pat, whatever you do, don't tell him that I've never been above the first floor.
Who is it, Landon?
How do I know what idiot with my cauldron at 4 o'clock in the morning? Is that you, Hubert?
No, sir, it's Dick and Pat.
It's Pick and Pat.
No, Dick and Pat, the president-elect and Mrs.-elect.
Welcome to the White House. And please pardon my nightcap and my boots. What can I do for you?
Well, we got the election returns this morning. I got here as fast as I could.
I understand you wanting to look the place over. But you've been to the White House before, haven't you, Dick?
Yes, but he's never been above the first floor.
All right, I'll give you the tour. Stop kissing my hand. The tour is $2. Thank you, Dick. Company coming up, Lady Bird. Beautify yourself.
Where but in the United States could you make fun of the leader of your country? For example, 2 young producers have taken the actual press conference statements of Dwight Eisenhower and posed different hypothetical questions. Turned out pretty funny.
And now it is our privilege, ladies and gentlemen, to speak with the former president of these United States, Dwight D. Eisenhower. May we take this opportunity, General, to ask you in retrospect for your own thoughtful and frank appraisal of the 8 years you spent in the White House?
I know of nothing that happened of any importance in my administration.
That seems very modest, General. Surely your tenure as president produced something you're proud of?
Fortunately, it didn't cause any great bloodshed.
What, from the very beginning, was your attitude and that of your trusted advisors toward your vice president, Mr. Nixon?
We wanted him out. No question about that.
General, we can pause for a moment here. I believe that waiter has brought you a drink.
Take that thing back.
General, you seem concerned. We're not on TV.
That's entirely different, yes.
Should the waiter bring anything else, sir?
A little bit more and a little bit more.
You seem to be the only guest here who got a drink, General. What did you say to the gentlemen who are guarding the bar?
We just said we would use whatever weapons would be needed. And I think they got the hint all right.
Well, I don't want to keep you from the party, and I know that you'll want to spend some time with our host, Mr. Johnson, who's down by the barbecue pit cooking.
I think we should just turn him over.
I meant doing the cooking.
That's entirely different, yes.
Yes, I didn't mean to confuse you, General.
Fortunately, it didn't cause any great bloodshed.
When we're told what we can read, what we're allowed to see, and what we're allowed to listen to, this is known as censorship. Let's listen to what Pat Paulson has to say on that subject.
We of the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour have had our share of censorship problems. But we are not against censorship because we realize there is always the danger of something being said. Many people feel that the censorship is a violation of freedom of speech. Bull feathers. Censorship is not unconstitutional. Censors have a right to censor what you hear. The Bill of Rights says nothing about freedom of hearing. This, of course, takes a lot of fun out of the freedom of speech. Without censorship of television, how else can you, the American public, have the protection you want from vulgar scenes, overexposed bodies, and all the other sights you like to see? There is nothing in the Bill of Rights about freedom of seeing. You can look for it, but if you see it, you better not show it to anybody. Let's face it, there have to be some realistic taboos, especially with political comment. After all, the leaders of our country were not elected to be tittered at. Censors have to draw the line somewhere. For instance, we are allowed to say Ronald Reagan is a lousy actor. But we're not allowed to say he's a lousy governor. Which is ridiculous. We know he's a good actor. And you can't say anything bad about President Johnston. Because you shouldn't insult the president. But if you compliment him, who will believe it? So you can see that there is a place for censors. And we only wish we could tell you where it is.
And let's see what happens when Bob and Ray take on the railroad industry.
And now, friends, we present the program that reenacts historical events as though they were happening today. Bob and Ray was there. We take you now to Promontory Point, Utah, and ace correspondent Chet Sturdley.
This is Chet Sturdley at Promontory Point, Utah. For weeks, the track-laying crews from the west and the track-laying crews from the east have been laying track. And they're now only 1 mile apart. When they meet here at Promontory Point, the tracks will be joined by a golden spike. And while we're waiting for the crews to meet, let's switch to ace correspondent Chet Ormsby.
This is ace correspondent Chet Ormsby. I'm stationed near the point where the tracks will be joined in the Iron Horse Barn Grill. Beside me is Mr. Patrick Hammerhead McGonigal, the man who's been chosen to drive the Golden Spike. Mr. McGonigal, will you tell us how you came to be chosen for the great honor of driving the Golden Spike?
Well, I was working on the track yesterday, and the foreman comes up to me, and he says, "Hey, McGonigal." And I says, "Yeah." And he says, "You doing anything tomorrow?" And I says, "No." And he says, "Okay, you drive the Golden Spike."
Well, thank you, Mr. McGonigal. And now we switch you to Chet Sturdley for a report on the progress of the track-laying crews.
This is Chet Sturdley again at Promontory Point. The track layers are half a mile apart now. They're running neck and neck. And for more details, here's ace correspondent Chet Harper.
This is ace correspondent Chet Harper. I am in the signal tower at Steve Canyon, Nevada. And now back to Chet Sturdley.
Thanks, Chet, for that colorful description. The track layers are coming into the stretch now. Maybe you can hear them in the background. They're approaching the finish line. They're still 2 feet short of the finish line. Not enough track. And while we're waiting for them to send for more track, I'm going to interview some of this great crowd which is gathered to watch the driving of the Golden Spike. Here's an Indian chief coming toward me in full regalia. Chief, will you tell us what you think of the Iron Horse?
Iron Horse, bad medicine.
What would you consider good medicine?
Milk of magnesia.
Pardon me, friends, this is the big moment we've all been waiting for. Mr. McGonigal, the spike driver, is stepping into position. He's grasping the Golden Spike in his left hand. There goes the hammer. Ow! Well, it's too bad he hit his thumb, but he's trying again. And he did it. The Golden Spike is driven, and here come the trains, one from the east and one from the west. Yes, the trains are speeding to the meeting point at this very moment. They're getting closer. 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 They're about to meet. And they did meet.
Another form of comedy was satire, which is a pretty tough way to get laughs. Here's a guy, Milt Kamen, who once took on a whole state.
I don't know how many people have ever traveled out west.
But one thing we've learned, anyone who's traveled, that there's nobody from Wyoming, because there is no Wyoming. That's a fact. There is no such place as Wyoming. And no one's ever met anybody from out there. It's on the map, it is, because it fills out the map rather nicely. It's a rather feminine-looking state, and it's shaped good, you can't take it out, it'd be like a hole there. But if you go out there, if you travel, you look at the map, you're riding in the car, look at the map, it says Wyoming. So you look outside because you trust America. And look outside, there's nothing. It's just... It's all the closet space that's missing from New York. That's what's out there. And the sunset is horrible to see. It's not a nice sunset, a terrible sunset out in Wyoming because the sun knows nobody's watching. So says, who cares, like a second show, I'll go down cockeyed, to go down like that. And you know what? It's so desolate out there. They got something messed with. I don't know what you do with it, but it rolls around, nothing there. It's terrible out there. And and sometimes when you're driving away, you know what you see silhouetted against the sun is a wildcat, like waving, like wait. Because there's nobody out there. They're terrible for them. So terrible, like a wildcat has no light. They wake up in the cave and they got neuralgia from the draft, And they walk out and maybe they like something for breakfast, maybe a peach. There's nothing there. They're lucky if they get roots of trees, all right, some roots are tasty. Like root beer comes from roots of trees. But root beer in the morning, even for a wildcat, is a terrible experience. That's why you always see wildcats out there. They're always looking for us, Because they have, supposing they do have breakfast. All right, Lucky finds roots of trees. All right, what's it do? It's 9:45. There's a whole morning to kill you. It walks around like that. What am I going to do with myself? And then it practices being a wild, something for 15 minutes like ferocious. Shh, shh, shh. All right, 10 o'clock, out of their heads, they walk around. What am I going to do? They don't know. So that's why they run on top of a mountain. They look and said, anybody there? Anybody see me? What? And people go by sometimes and say, look, there's a wildcat. It gets a little excited, Hey!
Mark Twain's philosophy enjoys a unique place in American humor. Here's Hal Holbrook doing his famous performance as Mark Twain.
Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you won't mind if I smoke. I believe there's some commandment against smoking during insurrections of this dignified nature, but I'm working to get it removed. Mind you, I have no objection to abstinence, so long as it does not harm anybody. I can give it up whenever I want to. I've done it 1,000 times. First time I gave it up was when I was a boy, about 10 or 11. They told me that I would shorten my life 10 years by smoking. So I got scared and gave it up one day for 2 or 3 hours. Then I finally decided the decade wouldn't be worth living without any smoking in it, so that was the end of that. Well, then another time I gave it up on the advice of my doctor. I'd been confined to my bed for several days with the lumbago. And the doctor finally said to me, look here, my remedies haven't got a chance. Consider what they have to fight besides the lumbago. You smoke extravagantly. You eat all manner of things that don't agree with each other's company. You drink 2 hot scotches every night, don't you? I said, yes, I do, but I only drink them as a preventative of toothache. I've never had the toothache. I don't ever intend to have it. Well, they said, that's all right, but we can't make any progress that way. So I cut off all those things for 2 days and 2 nights. At the end of that time, the lumbago was discouraged and left me. I was a well man again.
So I gave thanks and took to these delicacies again. Well, then I had occasion to recommend this remedy to an elderly lady friend of mine. She'd gone down and down to the point where medicines no longer had any helpful effect on her. I told her I could cure her in a week. I said she must give up smoking and drinking and eating and swearing. And by the end of the week, she'd be on her feet. Why, she said she couldn't give up smoking and drinking and swearing because she'd never done any of those things. So there it was. She'd neglected her habits. She was a sinking ship with no freight to throw overboard.
And here's one of our great comedians who has spent a lifetime bringing the top brass down to GI level. Naturally, I couldn't be talking about anybody else but Bob Hope.
I got here last night, so I had to sleep in the barracks with the men. You know what barracks are, 2,000 cots separated by individual crap games. Boy, what rugged guys these Marines are. Today, one of them pulled off his shirt, handed me a tattoo needle, and said, "Okay, make with the autograph, boy." I shook hands with one Marine, and when I got my hand back, there were only 4 fingers. I said, "What's the ID?" He said, "Keep moving, bud. There's a 20% withholding tax." And these Marines stick together and have a wonderful esprit de corps. Esprit de corps, that's a French expression meaning see if she's got a sister. You know, during the time they stay in boot camp, these Marines have to forget completely about girls. In fact, at midnight, the sergeant goes through the barracks with a flashlight, waking up anybody that has a smile on his face. And these Marines are really tough. You should see the hair on their chest. There's one fella here with so much hair in his chest, his captain insists on him getting into crap games. He's the only one in camp that can roll the dice and sweep the barracks at the same time. And listen, all this talk about sailors and Marines not getting along isn't true. Why, when I arrived in camp, they showed me a sailor who hadn't stolen... I'll be back. Wait a minute. I'm here. Why, when I arrived in camp, they showed me a sailor who had stolen a Marine's girl 2 weeks ago, and the sailor was just sitting there in a chair smiling. Honestly, it was the best embalming job I ever saw.
Want a brand new breakfast idea? Then get the Betty Crocker cereal tray, the Betty Crocker cereal tray. Yes, indeed. Try the brand new cereal assortment with 10 individual packages in all. 4 Wheaties, 4 Cheerios, 2 Kicks. All top favorites and all extra fresh. Yes, it's fun to take your pick from Wheaties, Cheerios, and Kicks. Get the Betty Crocker cereal tray, the Betty Crocker cereal tray. Get that tray today.
I promised I'd avoid a gunfight if possible. But it looks as though it isn't possible. I have 1 bullet left. You may draw when you're ready.
Have Gun, Will Travel. Starring Mr. John Daner as Paladin. San Francisco, 1875. The Carlton Hotel, headquarters of the man called Paladin.
Go on, Mr. Paladin.
Well, at 7 o'clock we could have champagne in the lounge.
Mm-hmm.
8 o'clock dinner at the Peacock, something special.
Oh, I'm intrigued, Mr. Paladin. And, then?
Coach ride to Barnaby's for crepe Suzetta's only Barnaby prepares a crepe Suzette. And after that, a liqueur back here by the fire in the lounge. No. Then...
What?
No. Oh, hey, boy.
Who is this?
Me, number one for Mr. Paladin. Sorry, lady, no champagne, no Peacock, no creepy Suzette, no liquors tonight. Wire come, you go. I know, you already packed. Wire? Here.
Bad news, Mr. Paladin?
Oh, dear lady, forgive me. Hey, boy, send an answer to Tom Carter, Abilene. Just say, have gun will travel.
It's no surprise to anybody that the attractive and inexpensive new radios have proved popular. It's no surprise, that is, to anyone who listens to CBS radio. With so much in the way of music, comedy, drama, variety, and news coming your way every day on CBS radio, more than one radio around the house is more than a convenience. It's almost a necessity for anyone who has a daily routine. The man of the house wants to come home to an attractive home and an attractive wife. But household chores in themselves are rarely inspirational. The smart homemaker is one who refuses to let her regular responsibilities get her down. She gets her work done every day, but she gets her entertainment in, too. She has a radio in the kitchen as well as the living room. Chances are she has a portable radio as well to follow her from one task to another around the house. She knows why the inexpensive new radios are so popular. And, what's more, she knows the value of CBS radio, too.
Here you are. Your bag, your saddle, and your gear. This is your hotel right here.
What's that?
Oh, folks from the Wild West show hold up in town right now. Most likely Ella West.
Ella West, huh?
Yeah. The star attraction at Tomahawk Carter's Wild West show. It was kind of frisky at times. Wouldn't go into the lobby by the front way if I was you.
And you wouldn't? Huh?
Not with Ella cutting up before breakfast. She just might take it into her mind to shoot them buttons off in that fancy vest you're wearing.
Well, I'll chance it.
Well, just friendly advice, brother.
No, please. You stay there. Out of my way. Now you jump when I yell frog, and you just hide. Frog.
Clerk, I'd like a room, please. What? A room. My name is Paladin.
Oh, yeah, well, just a minute. Now, hold on, Ella. Fun's fun, but enough. Oh!
Later, you can jump, too.
Ella!
And them fancy pants and that fancy vest.
You speaking to me?
No one else, Major. You don't need a room, boys. He needs a cage. I might even buy you a lemon squash later on, fancy pants.
I'd prefer whiskey if I felt like drinking, which I don't.
Say, you know who you're talking to?
I do?
I'm Ella West, and I can outshoot, outride, and outcuss any man here. I can outdrink you, I can outchew you, and I can outspit you.
Possibly.
Hey, Ella, it's Tracy Calvert.
Tracy, where?
Hi, Tracy. Now, you gonna let Ella take over your spot in the show? Huh?
Morning, Ella.
I didn't see you come in, Tracy.
Why don't you answer Breed's question?
Well, I just might take your spot. For 2 cents, I'd run you out of town, pony boy.
Don't cut your price for me, Ella.
Why, you...
Break it up now, folks. Break it up. Drinks around Tomahawk Carter. Everybody.
I want to talk to you, Ella. You too, Tracy. That squabbling's got to stop.
You find me in the bar. Come on, bring
Well, sure thing, Ella. Come on.
Yeah, what was it this time, Tracy?
The same thing it always is, Mr. Carter.
Well, wrap me in buffalo hide, Paladin.
Hello, Tom. Hello.
Oh, you're a sight in
Well,
that's a real sight.
Tom.
Yes, sir. Tracy, that's Mr. Paladin. He knew me way back when I was making an honest living. Tracy Calvert.
I've seen you ride, Mr. Calvert, Laramie, Wyoming, 71, when you took the grand prize.
I had a lucky day, Mr. Paladin.
We got powwow to make.
Well, I'll run along, Mr.
No.
Carter.
No, you stick here, Tracy. I got bad trouble, and I want you to handle it, Paladin.
Save your money, Tom. I never saw a man you couldn't handle.
It ain't a man. That little gal I want gentle tonight.
Tom, there's one wild thing man will never civilize, woman. And if you mean that one, I'm afraid there'll be no pleasure in failing.
That little gal in there happens to be Ella West. 24 years old, she's already more of a name than Calamity Jane, Cimarron Rose, and Belle Star lumped together. I got her in my show, and I got damage bills to prove it. And I'm going to lose my shirt even before I get my show together if something ain't done.
And you'll lose more when you get on the road.
There's 1 million people want to see Ella West, Mr. Paladin.
Darling of the frontier, heart of gold. Yes, I've seen the write-up.
She's fast with a gun, and she can ride like a Comanche.
She has to be more than that. Ella West is a legend, Tom, a romantic illusion. Your audience will expect you to bring it to life.
That's right.
And instead, you'll produce a repugnant, grimy-faced, loud-mouthed little shrew.
Well, I don't figure Ella's as bad as all that, Mr. Paladin.
Oh, how long have you known her?
She joined the show last month.
Well, my question was, how long have you known her, Mr. Calvert?
If you don't mind, I'll look in on the stock.
Tracy and Ella was raised in the same part of the country. Learned shooting and riding together.
Let him tame her. He seems to have a personal interest.
Now, doggone it, we're old friends.
Tom, you're talking about making a show horse out of a wild, mean-tempered colt. Now, that takes more than taming. It means crushing its spirit, rebuilding it from the ground up. With a horse, the odds are 10 to 1 for failure.
Yeah, I guess I knew it wasn't any use all along. I could have made a fortune with her.
That's why I want 10% of the entire season's gate if I succeed.
You ain't changed, have you?
I hope that's a compliment.
You ain't never stealing to ask what you're worth.
Of all leading filters, cigarettes, Kent Filter's best, Kent Filter's best. It makes good sense when you smoke Kent. Kent Filter's best. Of all of the brands of cigarettes, Kent tastes the best. Kent tastes the best. A richer taste than all the rest. Kent Filter's best. It makes good sense when you smoke Kent. Of all leading filter cigarettes, Kent Filter's best.
What do you want?
This here's Mr. Paladin, Ella.
Oh, fancy pants.
He come here to learn you some things.
You ain't gonna learn me nothing.
Correct. My function is to teach. You will do the learning.
I quit.
Fair off, Tom. She just resigned.
Wait just a blasted minute here. If anyone gets runned off, it's gonna be him.
Go along, Tom. I'll talk to you later.
I'll be in the saloon.
Now then, sit down, Miss West. Mind if I smoke?
No. Go ahead. Try lighting that cigar now, fancy pants.
That will be 2 deductions from your wages, the cost of the cigar and the bullet damage.
You're kind of a cool one, fancy pants, but you ain't gonna make no lady out of me.
First, you're not worth 2 cents to the show as a lady, and second, that would be impossible in the first place.
Why, you... You took my gun.
It'll be less noisy that way. Now, sit down, please. Better? Although your audiences will expect you to be somewhat different from the average woman, they will expect certain fundamental manners. The essence of showmanship is to be different, without being obnoxious.
You're a lily-livered, fancy-talking dude. I'll run you out of town by morning.
I believe you made the same ridiculous threat to Tracy Calvert.
Him, too. Tracy said anything to you about me, I'll kill him.
There's a ring of honesty in that threat, Miss West. However, he said nothing. I was merely speculating. Are we ready?
If you've got something to learn me, teach me, then get on with it. But keep your nose pulled in, dude.
Incorrect.
I gotta eat, don't I?
You don't reach with a fork and spear a slice of bread. You pick it up with
Now,
your
just a
hand.
minute.
And you never speak with your mouth full. Now, it's one thing to act homespun. It's quite another.
Breed.
You wearing a gun, dude?
It's quite another to create revulsion. I suggest you confine your idiosyncrasies to calling the food littles and complaining over the loss
I
of
asked you a
buffaloes.
question, dude.
I heard you.
Because if you ain't got a gun, you better get one. I'm going to teach you some manners.
Drop it.
Ellie, you've been tied to this dude for 2 days now. You like it or something?
I'm going along 'cause there's money in it. You know an easier way, Breed?
Yeah. All right, Ella. You say the word when you need me.
Mr. Breed seems to resent me almost as much as you do.
I can handle Breed for you, dude.
No need, Miss West. When the time comes, I'll handle him myself. Remember, just pretend I'm a newspaper reporter.
Get on with it.
Another question, miss. Tell us about your parents.
My old man was a stinking drunk, and the old lady was worse. She was
You
always...
are talking to reporters.
Then let 'em make it up like they've been doing all along.
Mention the homestead.
Homestead, it was a stinking sow pen. You can ask Tracy Calvert. It was so bad you couldn't believe it.
I'm sorry.
You wouldn't feel so blasted uppity if you got rut up like that.
You knew Tracy Calvert then?
Oh, yeah. I knew him. We was kids then. His daddy had a nice spread of land. You should have seen Tracy's house. All painted inside and out with a fence around it. And Tracy's ma all starched up and nice. She give me a dress once. My old lady traded it for some whiskey. No, Tracy'd have laughed if he'd ever seen me wearing it anyhow.
I think I understand.
What?
About you, Tracy Calvert.
Do you? Yeah, maybe you do that. You're kind of a strange one yourself. I didn't know real men came in fancy pants. What I mean is, we ain't doing so bad, are we?
I don't know.
He's sort of like you. Everything I wasn't, Tracy was, and everything I didn't have, he did. When he was real little, his mom let me stay one night. She come in and pulled the cover up and kissed me. I was 16 and he was 18 when they was going to move away. Maybe he wasn't growed up yet, but I was. I was growed up plenty. I didn't ask Tracy to marry me, just take me with him. I'd do anything if he would. He could cut me up into little pieces if he wanted to. Just take me. I never said the same thing since, but I'm saying it to you. I ain't what folks think. No man's never touched me. You take me with you when you go back to San Francisco. I wouldn't be afraid with you. Maybe just kiss my cheek and say something nice. I don't want to be in no show, printed in no paper. I just want somebody to know I'm alive. Please.
No.
What's the matter?
Look at yourself. You're still that grimy 16-year-old kid pretending she's a man. You don't compete with women because you're afraid to.
Paladin.
Find a man who wants the smell of the stables and ask him to take you away.
Breed wants me,
Then you and Mr. Breed deserve each other.
and he can have me. Just as soon as he kills you.
Do you see speed laws and other regulations as restrictive, or do you look upon them as protective? When a police officer writes a summons for traffic violations, do you see him as an enemy or a friend? Your life may depend on your attitudes. Statistics clearly indicate that where laws are obeyed, deaths go down. It's no secret that emotional immaturity is the major factor in our accident rate. How else but childish can you describe the notion that breaking a traffic regulation is a way of getting away with something? What could be more infantile than believing one can prove his superiority by ignoring a stoplight? Unfortunately, too many drivers on the road subscribe to that kind of emotional outlook. The result is tragic. Almost 85% of all traffic accidents in America are caused by careless, childish driving. We hope you know our traffic laws and the people who enforce them are there to help save your life.
He's a nasty one, Mr. Paladin.
Come along if you like. Afternoon, Ella. I heard you wanted to see me, Mr. Breed.
Oh, yeah. I didn't recognize you first. Wearing them big boys' clothes.
You're carrying your play acting too far this time, Ella.
Play acting. I've shot men for less.
That's kid talking. We aren't kids anymore.
Shut up, Tracy.
You heard the lady, Tracy. Shut up and get out. Me and Fancy Pants gonna settle something.
I changed my mind, Breed. I don't want no killing.
Honey, we made a bargain. You're gonna keep it all the way.
Tracy, take her to one side. You, barkeep, pour 5 shots and set them up in a line.
Yes, sir. What's this?
I promised Tom Carter I'd avoid a gunfight if possible.
Oh, you ain't got no choice, Fancy Pants.
All poured?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now then, Mr. Breed. I have 1 bullet left. Please, draw whenever you're ready.
Well,
Are you going to draw?
I didn't.
If you aren't going to draw, I suggest that you find Tom Carter, hand in your resignation, and start traveling. Now. Lessons continue at 7. Miss West in my room. Please be on time. Well,
I got myself some female clothes. Cost more than genuine buckskin. I took a bath.
come in.
Tracy Calvert's right. If I ain't a woman, I ain't nothing. I can go if you want me to.
You look very nice, Miss West.
You don't have to say that.
That happens to be true. You come off surprisingly womanly in a dress.
Store sold me a lot of lashings and cross ropes to go underneath.
It is
and
not considered good taste to discuss undergarments.
Only thing that threw me was my top notch is worse than plaiting a cow pony's tail. I still hate you. You're smiling. Go ahead. I don't blame you. You're clumsy and I talk ignorant, and I guess a few yards of silk don't help the likes of me much.
A wise man judges by the lady's smile.
I think I felt better when you was whooping my knuckles and telling me not to spear my bread. Golly, that's the first nice thing you said to me.
I'm dealing with a woman now.
You're dealing with a shaky one. You just being kind to me.
A woman needs kindness only when she has no virtues, Ella.
I wouldn't want you to say anything out of pity.
Pity isn't included in the course. Come in.
Mr. Paladin, I was... Holy lovely jumping toads.
Oh, Tracy.
Why, Ella, you... Well, Gosh.
What's the matter, Tracy?
Why, Ella, I've never seen you in... I mean, your hair, your eyes, Ella, you're a lady, Ella.
Tracy.
You sure are, and I'll kill the man who says you ain't. I'm sorry for what I said to you, Ella, about not being a lady. But doggone it, you've changed.
She changed for you, Mr. Kelvin.
Huh?
She'll tell you herself in time. But she'd like it very much if you just kept that silly look on your face and kept thinking of her as a lady.
Oh, I will, Ella. I swear I will, honest. What'd I do wrong? Did I offend you?
No, Tracy. No, dear Tracy.
Now, Ella, don't cry. Mr. Paladin, what do I do now?
Take your lady in your arms, Mr. Kelvin, and never let her go.
How are things in Abilene Town, Mr. Paladin?
In Abilene Town, things are going smoothly. And how are things here in San Francisco?
Smoothly.
Specifically, the young lady I never dined with, is she still registered here?
Oh, yes.
Ah. Then will you please take her this note and tell her I'm back?
I'd do it, but her husband no like.
Husband?
Yeah, she get married 2 days ago.
Me.
But a Spanish dancer registered today. Very nice. Oh, you catch him up for dinner, eh?
The Spanish dancer?
Oh, boy.
Hey, boy, take that note up to the Spanish dancer with my compliments.
Same note?
Same note.
No one we know of approves of wasting money. In spite of that, however, we Americans are often guilty of wasting our money by the uses we make of our government facilities. Take the operation of the post office, for example. Mostly out of habit, many offices and individuals post outgoing mail at the end of the day. In so doing, they leave post office employees with too little work to do at other times of the day. In addition, we forget to include zone numbers as part of the address. In both ways, we're slowing down the entire system for delivering mail and adding to the cost of our postal operation. The problem is simple enough to solve. Start solving it tomorrow. If you'll arrange to post letters and packages earlier in the day and include zone numbers on the return address as well as the outgoing address, you'll help our post office operate more efficiently for you, and at less cost, too. Remember, for faster, more economical service, mail early in the day and include zone numbers. Have Gun Will Travel. Created by Herb Meadow and Sam Rolfe, is produced by Norman McDonnell and stars John Daner as Paladin, with Ben Wright as Hayboy. Tonight's story was written by Gene Roddenberry and adapted for radio by John Dawson. Featured in the cast were Virginia Gregg, Sam Edwards, Harry Bartell, Lawrence Dotkin, Lynn Allen, and Barney Phillips. Hugh Douglas speaking. Join us again next week for Have Gun, Will Travel.
presents Academy Award. Every week, Squibb brings you Hollywood's finest. The great picture plays, the great actors and actresses, techniques and skills chosen from the honor roll, those who have won or been nominated for the famous Golden Oscar of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Science. And now, E.R. Squibb & Sons, manufacturing chemist to the medical profession since 1858, bring you a delightful comedy drama one Sunday afternoon. And as our star tonight, you will hear the distinguished actor Jimmy Stewart, who has twice been nominated as Best Actor of the Year, and in 1940, he won the Academy Award.
This is the story of a small town, and small-town people, and of a small love affair, if any love affair can be small. And, well, it all ends up all right. Makes you wonder if it was so small after all, the things that happened one Sunday afternoon.
there makes that song sound better.
Dad?
Yes, dear?
You want me to come out there?
You don't want to see my wife, do you, Snubby? No, it's all right, honey. You just stay in there. It's all right.
Making all that racket? If I hear any more, I'll come out there and put you both out of the house.
All right, now get out of that dentist chair, Snappy. Who's the dentist around here, you or me?
Okay, Biff, you're the doctor. But it's comfortable.
I got a good notion to pull all your teeth out.
No, I'll get out.
Good old Snappy. Gee whiz, you remember when we were kids together? Do you remember Avery's Park way back there?
Yeah, it was you and me and Beansy Miller and Hugo Barnstead.
Oh, yeah, that guy, Hugo Barnstead.
And Virginia Brush was stuck on her.
Oh, no, it wasn't. No, I wasn't.
Yes, you was, Biff. You was in love with her. And you used to sing in good old summertime.
Oh, sure, I used to sing that song, but Virginia liked it.
She was a swell girl. Hugo stole her away, and she was yours.
Yeah, Hugo was just a plain, everyday skunk. I never liked him. I'll bet I could have married Virginia if it hadn't been for him. He stole her. That's an awful thing for a skunk to steal another man's girl, you know.
Paul? Huh? What? Oh, it's you, Dick, over at the Majestic. Yeah, sure, Biff Grimes is here. I'll put him on. For you, Biff. It's Dick over at the Majestic Hotel.
Hello? Huh? It's Sunday. Never work on Sundays. Besides, Amy and I are going out for a walk. Huh? Well, I don't care if he's important. Biff Grimes is important, too. All right, so he's a bank president. Who? What? Hey, what'd you say his name was? Oh, Hugo Barnstead, huh? Send him right over. Good old summer.
You gonna pull Hugo's tooth?
Yeah.
Guess I'll be getting home.
Yeah, stay where you are. Come here. I'll do it. I'll get even. He stole Virginia from me, and that's not all. All right, come on, Hugo Barnstead, bank president, and get your tooth pulled. In the good old summertime, in the good old summertime.
Where's the dentist? Why, Biff Grimes. So you did become a dentist, huh?
Been a long time, Hugo.
Yeah? Must be 25 years.
Yeah.
Let's see, the last time I saw you was when we had that little trouble at the factory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, look, I got an awful toothache. I want gas, too, huh? Hey, look, right up here, see? Hurts like the deuce. I wanted to wait until I got over to Oakley, but Virginia, she's with me. And she said
All right. Which one is it?
This one. You see it?
Oh,
See it up there?
My assistant, Miss Robinson's off today, and Snappy Downer will take her place.
No, wait a minute. Biff.
Oh, you remember Snappy Downer.
Uh-huh.
Now, I just want you to inhale deep.
Okay.
Just deep as you can. Inhale. That's fill your lungs up. Are you getting any gas? That's fine. Just inhale.
I remember it all. Just like it was yesterday. You thought you were going to marry Virginia, but I fooled you. I fooled you.
Hugo Barnstead. Well, I've got you right where I want you, you little crawling rat. Go on and breathe. Breathe. That's it. I remember Hugo Barnstead in Snyder's Garden. Yesterday. Sure, it was yesterday. Avery's Park. And Amy and Virginia. We used to go over there. Yeah, I remember. Seems like yesterday. Only yesterday.
Hello, girl.
Hello.
Yeah, you brought your girlfriend along.
Yes.
Huh? Well, I brought my boyfriend, too. How do you like him?
He's all right. I guess he's all right.
Well, introduce me.
Oh, I'd like to introduce my boyfriend.
Sure.
This is Biff Grimes. Biff, this is Virginia.
How do you do? How did you know my name was Virginia?
That's for you to find out, little girl. That's for you to find out. We men never tell anything we know. I guess we could tell a lot of things we wanted to, eh, Hugo?
You betcha.
You betcha, yes, sirree.
Yeah. What's your girlfriend's name?
Oh, I forgot. This is Miss Lind, Amy Lind. This is Mr. What did you say your last name was?
Barnstead.
My name's Grimes, Biff Grimes. Say, I used to know you, didn't I?
That's right.
Oh, let me think what it was.
John Marshall School.
John Marshall? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You were a funny-looking little thing then, weren't you?
I always liked you, Biff. Amy. I guess I shouldn't have said that. Well, you could have waited. I'm sorry, Biff.
Oh, that's all right. I guess all the girls sort of slept on me in those days. Well, I guess an ice cream soda wouldn't be bad, eh?
Would you like an ice cream soda, Amy? I like a college ice.
Oh, that's swell. Say, Goldstein's got something new. I tried it last night. You'll rave about it. He says New York's going wild over it.
Yeah.
Yes, sirree.
What is it, Biff?
Well, he spreads nuts all over the ice cream.
Mm.
And we won't sit up at the counter either. Goldstein got chairs and back. He did it at my suggestion. It gives the place sort of a sporty atmosphere. Just like New York. Well, come on, let's go. Say, I've had my eyes on you, Virginia. You can take the little girl, Hugo.
Oh, sure, Biff. Come on, Virginia. You're littler than Amy.
Oh, Mr. Barnstead.
Hey, wait a minute here. Hey, what do you do? Well, that guy has a nerve.
I don't mind if you take me, Mr. Grimes.
Huh? Oh, sure. Well, come on. Hey, Virginia, I'm sorry I got into that fight. Here we are at Snyder's Garden. You're sore already.
Hugo Barnstead wouldn't act like you. He's a perfect gentleman.
That fella insulted you.
I despise fisticuffs.
Oh, Virginia, won't you give me a chance? Honest, I'm crazy about you. I can't sleep night or day thinking about you, and my brain's going around and around, and I get dizzy.
I'm not in the least interested. Oh, there they are. Yoo-hoo! Virginia, Miss Grimes.
Oh, here they come. Always finding us.
Hello. We were overlooking at the goldfish pond. Boy, I'll bet you there's a million fish in there.
And they're real, too, honest. Just swimming all over.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Hey, Biff, there's that fellow you had a fight with.
Biff, don't you start anything again.
I'm not starting anything.
I'm warning you, Biff Grimes.
I can keep my mouth shut, my hands to myself.
Oh, don't worry, Virginia. Biff knows how to handle him. Hey, that's some cutie you got there. You'd think she'd go out with somebody decent.
We're going. Come on, Biff. Come on, Amy.
You know, I could like that cutie myself. And I'd do more than just hold her little hand if she was out with me. Come on now, I don't want to get in any fight.
Biff?
What was that last remark?
Huh?
That last remark?
What about it, wise guy? What are you going to do?
Stand up.
What for?
I want to see how hard I can knock you down.
Biff, you promised.
I don't care. I wouldn't let a remark like that go by.
His cutie tells him what to do.
All right, get up.
Biff Grimes, look out, he's got a knife.
I'll shove it down his throat.
Biff Grimes, I never want to see you again. I hate you. You're a bully. A big bully.
I'll see you over at Avery's Park Wednesday evening, sharp.
Hugo, take me home. Hello, Biff.
Oh, hello, Amy.
It's nice in Avery's Park at night, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Haven't you seen Virginia?
No, not since the picnic.
Haven't you called her or anything?
No.
You were going to meet her here.
Yeah, 8 o'clock.
Oh, it's after 9 now.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Don't I know it?
If I ask you something, will you tell me?
What?
Do you love Virginia?
Well...
You don't have to tell me if you don't want to.
Well, yes. Yes, I love her. I guess maybe I got a little too crazy about her. Sort of an ingrown pain. It starts in the pit of your stomach and works up to your neck and then it...
9:15. I guess Virginia isn't coming.
Yeah. Yep. Looks that way. Sure is nice out here, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, sure is swell.
After a while, the moon will be up. Last night it was up early. Oh, there it is now.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
Beautiful. This time of night things seem still and quiet. Soon fall will be here. Trees will get bare. Then winter. I don't like winter.
No?
No. I get awfully lonesome when winter comes.
Well, you get lonesome, Amy?
Yes.
I know. I get lonesome, too.
Do you, Biff?
Yeah.
Where's Amy and Biff? Hi, Amy. Hello, Biff.
Oh, Snappy, what are you doing over here?
Just taking a walk. Guess you heard the news.
What news?
Ain't you heard?
Well, it depends on what news you've heard.
Well, didn't you hear about Virginia?
Well,
She got married this afternoon at 4 o'clock. Married Hugo Barnstead. And he's going to work for his uncle over in Toledo. Got a swell job. He and the happy bride are leaving on the midnight. We're going to throw rice and everything. I hear they got a lower sleeper.
No. That's good. Wow. What do you know about that?
Well, I guess I'll be running along.
All right, Snappy.
Gee, Biff, I'm sorry. It hurts, huh?
Oh, no. I don't know. It's just I hope when Hugo climbs into that sleeper, he breaks his leg. That's all.
Biff, that isn't nice.
All right, okay. I'm sorry. You're the first person who ever made me take something back, too. You're the first. Well, say, Amy.
Yes, Biff?
Well, there's no sense in two people being lonely in the winter, is there?
No, Biff.
Well, then how about me being your steady?
Do you want to?
Yes, I do.
All right, Biff.
All right. Well, gee, boy, it looks like there are a million stars out tonight. Well, all right, let's go. I'll walk as far as the gate with you, and then, Amy, I think I'm going to kiss you.
In these last days of summer, every day is. For what is more exhilarating than the feel of a clean, spanking breeze and the sting of icy spray as it fans back from a plunging bow? That's real refreshment. Pleasing to the senses like the brisk, clean action of Squibb Dental Cream. For the very instant Squibb Dental Cream touches your teeth and gums, its mint-frosted smoothness makes your mouth tingle and leaves it feeling pleasantly exhilarated. And you may look for a refreshing difference in your smile, too. For the velvety polishing agent in Squibb Dental Cream uncovers natural sparkles safely, without harming the most delicate tooth enamel, no matter how vigorously you brush. So, for a brighter smile, the mouth refreshed, use Squibb Dental Cream, one of the great family of Squibb products. Taste, feel, and see the refreshing difference. And now the House of Squibb presents Part 2 of Academy Awards, starring Jimmy Stewart in One Sunday Afternoon.
Tuesday's our anniversary, you know?
Yeah, gosh, Amy. Funny wedding, wasn't it? Justice of the peace.
Old man Hawkeye.
Yeah. We didn't have any witnesses, so we called in those two men from the livery stable. Well, never mind, honey. Wait till I get my debts cleaned up, and then we'll have a swell wedding. We'll get married all over again.
I know we will. Why not put your books away for the night and take a walk? You've been at the factory all day.
Oh, say, did I tell you they're switching Hugo Barnstead from the Toledo branch over here beginning tomorrow morning?
Yes, I know. Virginia told me this afternoon.
Did you? Where did you meet Virginia?
On Main Street. She said they might stop over and see us tonight.
Well, I don't want to see him. How did Virginia look?
Swell. And such clothes. They must have struck it rich.
Yeah.
You don't mind if they come, dear?
Oh, me? Well, no. Why should I? Hey, it looks like them now, out there.
Oh,
Is that them?
my, I've got the dishes put away. You talk to them for a minute.
Well, come here, Amy. Amy, I don't want to see them alone.
All right, dear. I'll open the door. Nice little place you have here, Amy. Well, it's comfortable anyway. You're both looking awfully well.
Thanks.
Don't you think so, dear?
Yeah.
What a lovely dress. Oh, yes. I got it in Toledo. The store said it was imported from Paris. Really?
It is. It would have been cheaper to move there.
Lovely. Don't you think so, dear?
Yes, yeah. I'm buying one for Amy for her birthday.
Oh, say, Biff. You know, my uncle isn't satisfied with the way things are going at the factory. We're not making enough money.
Oh, no?
No, he expects me to double the output and cut down the expenses. You see, you may be able to give up that silly dentist idea and become a businessman.
Well, let's get down to the point. What do you want?
Well, they tell me there are too many men laying off sick. I'm going to clean out that place. Too much dead wood. We're not running an old man's home. Too many old-timers, huh?
Well, I found the men good workers.
Well, you see, Biff, you mingle with the men. You can keep your eyes open and see what's going on.
No, I do my own work. I don't notice the others.
But you can begin to notice them?
I don't understand.
Well, for instance, the department where you are. Now, some are on the job, but I suppose others aren't. Well, I want you to report to me, you see? Now, who would you suggest I get rid of?
In other words, you want me to be a spy.
Oh. You see, Virginia? That's what I get for trying to help him out.
I didn't ask you for help. You came over here tonight to make a sneak out of me. You can get out.
Oh, now he's insulting me without any reason. I came here ready to...
No, Hugo, you don't understand. Oh, stop it, Hugo. I think you've made a fool of yourself.
I have not made a fool of myself. I think Biff Grimes is too stubborn for his own good. What's the sense of talking to a man without any brains? I'm going. Come on, Virginia.
It's all right. I can handle him. Good night, Amy. Doing home at this hour?
Well, I guess I got a little surprise for you, Amy. Down at the factory, you know what happened the other night?
Hugo?
Yes, Hugo, that little rat. His uncle called me into his office and asked me to give him that information Hugo wanted. Well, we had a few words and I quit.
Biff, tell me the truth. Did you have words with Hugo, too?
Well, sure I did.
Did you strike him?
Well,
Tell me the truth.
Well, I didn't exactly strike him, but I gave him a little shove.
Oh, Biff, don't you see how we're fixed? If you went back and explained...
No, it's too late. I kind of lost my head, Amy. Something went wrong with the machinery. I guess it was my fault, and Hugo fired me. Wouldn't even give me my pay. I told him he had to give me my pay.
Oh, Biff.
But he's got to give me my pay, and I'm going to...
Biff, my mother's here visiting today. Don't tell her, not just yet. She'll be wondering why you're home. I'll fix it somehow. You wait here.
Good evening, officer.
Hello, Biff. They belong to you, don't they? You better come along quietly, Biff, and don't make any trouble. Hugo Bonstead wants you pinched. He swears you took a punch at him and came back and tried to rob the place. You had this gun.
Oh, for heaven's sake, be quiet. My wife's in there. I just pulled it as a bluff. He wouldn't pay me my wages. I worked for them. I work hard. I couldn't lick the whole police force. You fellas know me. You've known me for years. I wouldn't steal anything for anybody. I was desperate, I tell you. I only wanted what was coming to me.
Sorry, Biff. We can't do nothing. We gotta take you. Hugo has the whole factory to swear on his side.
Biff?
Oh, well, I know that's awful nice of you, Matt, to come up here. I appreciate it. I'm only too glad to accept your offer. Hello, Amy.
What's the matter?
Matter? No, there's nothing matter. The cops are giving a clam bake down at the casino on Thursday, and they asked me to join the committee, so we're just going to go down there and arrange.
Oh, wait for me. Wait for me. Stop! No, Bill!
me. I dropped off at the junction. I could have made the 5:45, but I didn't want anybody at the station to see me. Something told me you'd be out here at this old park. It's nice up here tonight. Spring.
Yeah.
It smells good in the earth and the trees. Everything seems to be waking up and new life coming in. Well, I got out at 12 o'clock and the warden shook hands with me. He was a nice guy. He's glad to see me, Amy.
You know I am, Bill.
Oh, gee. Feels good to see you. Feels good to be back. 2 years. It just seems like 10. Oh, that gramophone over there. What's the plan, Amy? Something new?
Let the rest of the world go by.
Well, I guess we'll just have to do that, Amy.
All right.
Okay with you?
Wherever you go, Bill, I'll go.
Oh, look up at that old sky. Must be a million stars out. And the moon's up full.
Yes.
And it's spring. Let's walk home, Amy. Yeah, it seems just like yesterday. Avery Park and Amy.
Biff, are you going to pull that tooth?
Yeah?
I'm going home.
Stay right where you are.
I can't stand to walk.
Well, if it isn't my old-time sweetheart himself.
Hello, Virginia. How are you?
Well, you've kept your look. Say, have you pulled Goofy Jake's tooth yet? Do me a favor and put him out of his misery.
Hugo. Hugo.
Now, let him alone. He's half dead anyway.
Yeah?
Hugo, you all right? Look at me. Here, take some water.
Is it out, huh? Can you see it? My dentist in Pittsburgh told me. Remember the time I had those 7 teeth?
Listen, you. For 25 years, I've heard nothing but teeth, teeth, teeth.
Oh, Virgie.
Oh, don't, Virgie. If I hear any more squawks out of you, I'll perform an operation myself and you won't get gas.
Oh. How much do I owe you, Biff?
For me? Me? Oh, nothing. Oh, nothing. Nothing at all.
Oh? Well, as you wish.
Biff. By the way, how's your wife?
Well, she's very well.
Still married, or don't you work at it?
No, Mrs. Grimes is still Mrs. Grimes.
Well, goodness knows what I've suffered. Married to this death house buzzard.
Oh, now, Virgie, I want to go home. I don't feel good.
Well, come on then. See you some other time, Biff.
Yeah. Sorry we can't stay and see your wife.
Well, she'll be sorry, too. Good afternoon.
What was all that commotion in here? Where's Snappy?
Oh, he's gone.
Well, ready to take a walk? Get your hat. Sunday afternoon, everybody out.
Amy.
What's the matter, dear?
Oh, Amy. Oh, do you know, you're very sweet and very beautiful. I love you, Amy.
I love you, too.
And tomorrow you're going to get the finest car in Hillsdale.
Our old car is getting pretty terrible looking.
Well, I wouldn't let you be seen in it. You know, there's a brand new taxi standing over there near the hotel. Hey, taxi! Hey, listen, drive up to the front door there and wait there. That's right. Just around the corner. Yeah, that's right. You see, Biff Grimes and his best girl we're going for a ride.
If you've been watching the news from Europe and Asia, You've probably read reports of progress in the war on starvation. You've probably read about some of the effective new weapons with which science has armed doctors who are fighting that war. Among those weapons are the amino acids, protein derivatives which help to restore health-building proteins quickly, where men, women, and children have been robbed of them through starvation. Only through constant research were such new aids developed. Only through continuing research can their further refinement and wider use be achieved. That is why at the House of Squibb, scientists are probing further into the possibilities in protein derivatives, working with the tireless thoroughness which has established Squibb leadership in medical research. Not only life-saving drugs, but all the simple health necessities Squibb makes for your home use represent the fruit of such research. To make sure you get Squibb quality when you buy, ask for Squibb, a name you can trust. Next Wednesday, another great picture. The House of Squibb will present Academy Award with a real treat for the entire family, a special treat for the children. Walt Disney's Pinocchio. Jimmy Stewart is soon to be seen in the Liberty Films Frank Capra production, It's a Wonderful Life. This is Hugh Brundage bidding you good night until next Wednesday at the same time, when you're invited to listen again to Academy Award presented by the House of Squibb, a name you can trust. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Present George Edwards in Frankenstein. During his enforced stay on the good ship Voyager, Baron Frankenstein related his experiences to Captain Walton, who noted them in his journal. And it is owing to that journal that we are able to retell the strange experiences of Baron Victor Frankenstein. Each morning, Captain Walton used to visit Baron Frankenstein's cabin.
Good morning to you, Captain Walton. Good morning, Baron Frankenstein. Did you look over the notes which I have made in my journal?
I did. They form a very graphic and remarkable story. It is extraordinary to think I am reading my own story, and that story is not yet ended. Somewhere outside, the foul monster of my creation still wanders at large, waiting to wreak his evil vengeance on all who stand in his path.
Did you create a mate for that monster? You may remember you were telling me that you and your friend Ernst Clerval had arranged to journey to a lonely island in the Orkneys, there to attempt to create a female monster.
That is true, and I lied to my wife. I told her that I was going to take a short trip for my health. Eventually, I reached the island in the Orkneys, and there Ernst Clerval and I took up our residence in a large, comfortable cottage. I used one big room at the back to conduct my experiments. I studied night and day. I worked for months, and at last I molded a form which I hoped would someday have life and would be the mate of the monster which I had created. One night, I sat working over this form while Ernst sat by my side. He watched me at work and said,
Victor, I do not know whether you are doing the right thing. I do not feel that you should create another monster.
I have doubts myself, my friend. As my work nears completion, I am afraid. I think that I will unleash another killer, another frightful monster to bring havoc and misery into the lives of many people, and yet I must go on.
You do not know that the original monster you created still lives. He may have died by now, and if you continue with this work, you may have to destroy it.
Sometimes I feel that the monster which I created will destroy me.
Oh, you should not think of those things. Have you heard from Elizabeth lately?
I received a letter from her yesterday. She begged me to return home and wonders why I am delaying so long. She must never know what I am doing. She will never forgive me.
She will never learn. Come to bed now, Victor. You have worked long enough. You look tired and ill.
I am tired and ill, but I cannot leave my work at present. You go to bed and leave me here.
Truth to tell, I am tired of this cold, windy, unpleasant island. Will we be here much longer?
Not very much longer. If I work through the night, it will merely be a matter of waiting for a thunderstorm. That might come tomorrow, and then my work will be complete. Then this lifeless body will have the divine spark, and I will have sinned again. Oh, think of it, Ernst. I should not do it. I know I should not do it.
Courage, my friend. It is not too late to destroy the body.
Go, leave me. I must think. And I must work on and on, working for the monster which I created.
You will be all right here?
Of course. Why not?
Oh, very well, my friend. I will bid you good night.
A moment. Oh, what was that?
Oh, the casement window flew open. The force of the wind must have blown it open.
Strange. It has never done that before.
I shall close it before I go.
That is better. Good night, Ernst. I will see you in the morning.
Good night, Victor. Do not stay up too long.
Alone with the devil's work that I have made my own. My thoughts drive me to a frenzy. If only I had never attempted to create the monster. If only I did not have to slave now at the orders of my own creation. Who's that? I said that I would be watching over you, Frankenstein. The monster. I have watched you these many days. I've traced you to this lonely island, and I am happy knowing that now you are obeying my orders, knowing that soon I am to have a companion, a mate in my own likeness. Oh, why do you haunt me? Why have you followed me here? Are you not my creator? Have I not the right to follow you and watch you at your work? Anger me not, Frankenstein. I am living for the day when that lifeless form that lies before me shall have life. Then there will be one creature on this earth which will not regard me with shuddering hatred and loathing. You look more hideous than ever. And when I think that I created you, I am filled with horror and remorse. I cannot make another in your likeness. Begone, foul fiend! Have a care, Frankenstein. You remember the threat I made to you? Unless you complete your work, unless you make me a companion, all those whom you love shall die at my hands. Standing there, framed in the window, you look more loathsome than anything I have ever seen. Those hands which I made have killed defenseless people, and they shall kill other defenseless people if you do not obey my orders. Tell me this. Have you slain anyone since last we spoke? I slew but one man. He laughed and jeered at me, hurled stones at me, turned the villagers against me. Then I seized his throat and choked the life from his body. You devil, you promised you would slay no more men. Have you the right to command me? Am I not your creator? Did you not swear to me that if I carried out your orders, there would be no further murders? Sometimes the desire comes upon me to kill. I cannot resist that desire, but proceed with your work, Frankenstein. I like to watch you. Go from here. I will not proceed with my work while you are here. Go, you loathsome visage. Oh, you fill me with horror and hatred. Very well, my master. I will go. But I will not be far away, and I hope that soon your work will be complete. I bid you farewell. We shall meet again.
Did the monster trouble you again that night, Baron Frankenstein?
I did not see the monster again that night, but I sat and thought for many hours, realizing that my ghastly work was a great sin. Remembering the face of the monster as I had last seen it, wrinkled with ghastly malice and treachery, I was sitting there when dawn broke. My friend Clerval came in and found me. As soon as he saw me, he said,
Victor, have you been here all night?
I haven't.
Is your work complete?
It is not complete. But I received a visit from the monster last night, and I know now that I cannot complete this work. I dare not make another fiend. I have not the right to do it.
What did the monster say? Did he threaten you?
Yes. Do you not understand, Ernst, that if I create this female, there is no knowing that she will accept the monster as her mate? She might turn with disgust from him when she sees him amongst other men. She will also know and realize that he is hideous and deformed, and she may have the same murderous purposes. I dare not do it. I must not do it.
My poor friend, how can I advise you?
Give me that iron bar. I feel that madness is upon me. I swear that I shall never complete this work. Give me that iron bar, Ernst.
Here it is. What will you do with it?
You will see. I will destroy all traces of my work. Look, I smashed this lifeless form to atoms. Never will I resume these labors. As I smash this form, so do I defy the monster. I will find him. I will no longer fear his threats. I will destroy him just as I am destroying this work of mine. Look on me, Ernst.
Victor, you are close to madness.
Yes, close to madness. See now what I have done. The monster shall never have a mate.
Perhaps you are wise.
I know that I am wise, but I know that my first creation still lives, and when he learns of this, he will vow hatred and revenge. The monster. Oh, he approaches the window now. I still have the iron bar. I shall destroy him as I destroyed the form that was to be his mate. Oh, the loathsome creature stands outside the window. Look at him. Yes, look on me, Frankenstein. Look on your creation, and look on the work you have destroyed. And I am glad that I destroyed it. Do you dare to break your promise? I left Switzerland after you. I crept along the shores of the Rhine. I have dwelt many months in the heaths of England and among the deserts of Scotland. I have endured unutterable fatigue, cold, and hunger, and now you dare to destroy my hopes. Your threats cannot move me. They confirm in me the determination not to create a companion for you. Do you think that I, in cold blood, would set loose upon the earth another monster whose delight is in death and wretchedness? I will kill you.
Careful, Victor.
I do not fear him. I seize the iron bar from his grasp. Stand back, Frankenstein. Do you think you are to be happy while I grovel in the intensity of my wretchedness? I go now, Frankenstein. But we will meet again on the day that you are reunited with your wife. Remember that, Frankenstein. On the day that you are reunited with your wife, you and I will come face to face again. Ernst, will you not help me to kill the vile beast?
We are helpless. He stands outside the window. He wrenched that iron bar from your grasp and bent it as if it were a stick of willow. He has gone now.
Did you hear his threat? I am afraid. And you may well be afraid, Frankenstein. You have had your chance, and you let it slip by. Hear me, my creator. I am now your master.
Leave this out at once.
Did the dreadful monster carry out his threat, Baron Frankenstein?
Ask me no more today, Captain. I recall that I almost swooned after the monster had left me, and I feel now that the monster is not far away. He is close to the ship. I seem to sense his presence.
I shall place armed men on guard outside your cabin. Do not fear, Baron Frankenstein. If my men set eyes on the monster, they will kill him. I go to give those orders now.
Present George Edwards in Frankenstein. the good ship Voyager. Baron Frankenstein is confined to his cabin, recovering from the effects of hardship and exposure. During his convalescence, he tells the story of his tragic experiences to Captain Walton, the master of the vessel.
Well, the weather seems to be improving a little, Baron Frankenstein. For a wonder, it's not snowing.
Perhaps the thaw is going to set in soon. Then you will have to take your vessel back to England, and you will leave me here.
We shall certainly not leave you here.
Oh, but you must. I cannot return to civilization until I am sure that the monster of my creation is dead.
Let me plead with you, Baron Frankenstein. You were in the last stages of exhaustion when you came aboard this vessel. We have nursed you back to health and strength. Come back to England with us. Forget about the monster. I feel sure that he has perished out there in the blizzard.
Oh, if only I could feel sure.
Tell me some more of your story. What happened after you had destroyed the companion you were making for the monster?
Did I not tell you that the monster returned and threatened me? He swore that he would see me again on the day that I returned to my wife.
Yes, I remember that. And did you leave the island then?
I arranged with my friend Ernst Clerval that we should leave the island a few days later. And when the supply vessel called, some men were sent ashore to carry our effects to the ship. This vessel was under the command of a dour Scottish captain called MacDougall. He came ashore and spoke with Ernst Clerval and myself.
We can put you ashore at Southampton. That is as far as we're going this trip.
Oh, that will do nicely. Are you agreeable to that, Clerval?
Oh, we must be agreeable. No other boat will call here for a month.
Well, we must go on this one. Tell me, Captain MacDougall, is your vessel watched closely?
What do you mean by that, Baron Frankenstein?
Has anyone else tried to get aboard the vessel?
But certainly not. The vessel is moored about 100 yards from the shore, and only one boat came ashore. No one will get into that boat but you two passengers.
Oh, I am glad to hear that.
I did not know that there was anyone else on the island.
There is one other person on the island, but he must not leave here.
Who is he?
That matters not. But he is an enemy of mine. Is everything ready, Ernst?
Oh, my briefcase has been left in the cottage. I will only detain you for a moment, Captain. I will go and get it myself.
Very well, Herr Clerval. We will wait for you.
Do not be too long, Ernst. I want to get off this island as soon as possible.
Oh, I will only be a few minutes.
Now, Captain MacDougall, I would like you to give your crew instructions to see that no one, bar her, Clerval, and myself, attempts to board this vessel. It is imperative that the monster should remain here. Perhaps he will die of starvation.
What monster is this of which you speak, Baron Frankenstein?
A huge, deformed creature. A murderer.
A murderer? On this island?
Do not worry your head, Captain. As long as that creature is not allowed to board your vessel, as long as we keep a watchful eye, there is nothing to fear. I am hopeful that I will never see or hear of him again.
What?
Ernst, I see the attack. What does it mean? Call some of your men. Come quickly. Follow me.
Tell me more, Baron Frankenstein. Had Ernst Clerval really been attacked?
Together with Captain MacDougall, we hurried to the cottage. I flung open the door and dashed in, and then a dreadful sight met my eyes. On the floor in the far corner lay the huddled body of Ernst Clerval. I dashed over to him and said, "This is the monster's work. Oh, Ernst, my friend, I should have known. I should have known."
Let me see the man.
Look at him, Captain MacDougall. He is dead. And look on those cruel bruises, those marks on his throat. This is the monster's work. He has carried out his promise. Those that I love are to be slain. This is my punishment.
But who is this frightful creature? Let me order my men to search for him. The island is small. We must find him.
We must find him. Arm your men with firearms. Tell them to shoot on sight.
But what does the creature look like?
A cruel, evil monster. Much bigger than an ordinary man. With long, yellow fangs that show between his lips. A monster of hideous cruelty. Oh, he must be found and slain.
But who is he? What is his name?
He has no name. I created him.
You created him? You created this monster, Baron Frankenstein?
It is the truth. Go, man. Tell your men to search for this monster. Tell them to slay him. Leave me here with my friend Ernst.
Will you be safe here?
I will be safe, although I pray for death. Go, Captain. I beg that you strive to find the monster and slay him.
I will gather my men at once. We'll search the island thoroughly. You had better return to the vessel as soon as possible, Baron Frankenstein. I will see you there.
Oh, Ernst, my friend, the truest friend that man ever had. Had I but heeded your advice, you would have been alive today. But I sinned. I usurped the rights of God, and for that sin, I am paying dearly. Now I have lost my friend. I know that my wife is in danger. Oh, Almighty Father in heaven, I know that I have sinned. I beg for thy forgiveness. I ask that I may live to avenge those who have died because of my crime. Hear thou my prayer, my Father.
Well, Baron Frankenstein, was the monster found on the island?
Captain MacDougall and his men searched the island thoroughly, but there was no trace of the monster. He had not even left a footprint. Where he was hiding, I do not know, because later on I joined in the search, and I could not find him. At last, heartbroken and weary, I left the island, taking with me the body of my beloved friend Ernst Clerval. The vessel set sail, and in due time I landed at Southampton. Then I made arrangements to go home, and at last I arrived in Geneva once again. On arriving there, I found my wife eagerly awaiting me. She greeted me happily, saying,
Victor! Oh, my heart is almost bursting with joy to see you again after all these months. Oh, my darling.
Oh, Elizabeth, I am so happy to feel my arms about you once again.
Let me look at you. Have you fully recovered from your illness? Have you forgotten the nightmares and the horrors of the past?
I am well, Elizabeth.
That is not the truth, Victor. You look drawn and very pale.
I have had a long and tiring voyage, but I will be better soon.
But what ails you? And where is Ernst? Did he not come with you?
Ernst is not returning.
Not returning?
I left him in England. He sent you his love.
That is strange. I thought he would come back with you.
Oh, do not question me now, Elizabeth. I am tired. But tell me of yourself. Have you been happy here?
Oh, how could I be happy while you were away from me? But I looked forward to the day when you would return.
Have you seen anything of the monster?
Not a sign. I am living in hopes that he has perished, that we will never hear from him again.
Have there been any reports that he has been around here in the last few days?
Why should you think that? Have you seen anything of him during your travels?
I saw him once.
Did he follow you?
Oh, do not be worried, Elizabeth.
I had so hoped that the horrible creature was dead. Why are you looking so worried, Victor? What has happened?
Well, you must be guided by me, Elizabeth. I beg that you will not leave the house unaccompanied. Stay by my side always. And whatever you do, wherever you go, if you do leave my side, carry this pistol with you.
A pistol? But Victor, what is it that you fear?
What is it that I fear? Don't you know? I fear that the monster may return. I know that he is not dead.
You know that he is not dead?
I told you that I had seen him.
But why should you think that he will attack me?
Oh, please do not question me now, Elizabeth. But do as I say. Promise that you will not be alone for any length of time. And if you hear anything which frightens you, promise on your word of honor that you will call for help at once.
But do you think that that will be necessary?
Oh, it is necessary. And please always carry that pistol with you. Do not hesitate to use it if necessary.
This is most alarming. I wish you would be frank with me, Victor. Tell me why you think the monster will attack me.
He is a blood-crazed inhuman creature. We must be on our guard. We must try to kill him before he does any further damage.
Further damage? Has he committed another murder since you left here?
Oh, can we not talk of something else, Elizabeth? I am so worried, so terribly worried. The mere mention of the monster upsets me.
And I thought that this holiday would help you to recover, and you would come back well and strong. But you seem worse than ever. I have never seen you show such fear.
Well, I cannot help it. Oh, but be of good heart, Elizabeth. While I am here, I shall protect you. And if the monster comes, I swear he shall die.
Why should you think the monster will come?
Well, he threatened to come on the day that you and I were reunited. But I hope that he is on that lonely island in the Orkneys. I do not think he can be here.
Victor, did you hear that?
Yes, I heard it. The monster's laugh. He has returned. Oh, Elizabeth, I am afraid.
Proceed, Baron Frankenstein. Did you see anything of the monster that day?
Oh, I'm afraid I cannot tell you any more now, Captain. The telling of this story has tired me. Please, go and leave me in peace.
Very well. I will note what you have told me in the journal, and I will return to you when you feel more rest.
Gargan stars as Barry Craig, confidential investigator.
Sudden loss of weight might be cause for anxiety, but one good thing at least. It makes the pallbearer's job a whole lot lighter.
The National Broadcasting Company presents William Gargan in another transcribed drama of mystery and adventure with America's #1 detective, Barry Craig, confidential investigator.
Barry Craig speaking. Once every year, an epidemic of lunacy sweeps across the nation. Some call it midsummer madness. You get sunstroke by day and moonstruck by night. I got my dose of it in a resort hotel. Jubilee Villa, the big neon sign across the roof said. Jubilee Villa, where days were given to pinochle and golf, and nights were given to lawn dancers under big sheltering pines. Like everybody else, I was dancing. Unlike everybody else, I had a genuine, non-dyed, natural blonde babe in my arms.
Oh, you dance divinely, Barry.
You'd only put that in writing, Blondie.
In writing?
I collect testimonials.
Oh.
Blondie was a vacation guest with a ruby mouth and a slim, trim Panatella chassis. Not an extra ounce of butterfat or chocolate bonbon anywhere on her. The name she gave was Linda Paris. I was kicking my heels at Jubilee Villa at Linda's own request. She'd phoned me to please come. What she had on her lovely mind, I didn't know yet. I was too busy totaling up what she had on the outside.
Well, I suppose the time has come to talk, Barry.
Cruel words.
You've probably been wondering why I telephoned you and dragged you up here.
I stopped wondering after the second highball.
Down that path there's a grape arbor. We can be alone there.
You've enticed me.
Only to talk about my problem.
Oh.
I really do have a problem, Barry.
Yeah, I know, with men. You've had that same one problem since the age of 3, I'll bet. But leave us sojourn. A grape arbor under the moon with a bewitching blonde at hand means all things to all men. But to a confidential cop, it only means work. Police work.
You have facilities for finding out about people.
I do. Now, who do you want to find out about?
Stuart Stoner.
Who's he?
A guest here at the hotel.
So you want a confidential police check on him?
Yes. I want to do the conservative thing
Before getting too enmeshed?
Before getting engaged.
And you're afraid Stewart is a low-down fortune hunter. Is that the nub of it?
Oh, well, he led me to believe that he, too, is rich.
I'm assigned. What are the vital statistics on Stuart Stoner? Hometown, family, business, etc., and so forth.
I know nothing except that his people are supposed to be in Milwaukee society.
You'll know more when I'm through. Milwaukee, here I come. One thing about a long train ride, you catch up on your back reading. Came the day after tomorrow, I returned to Jubilee Villa, full of news from Milwaukee. Bad news for Blondie.
It's all so incomprehensible to me.
Then let me repeat myself. There is no Stoner family in Milwaukee society and no young aristocrat named Stuart Stoner.
Then Stuart is a masquerader.
It would seem. And so are you, too, a masquerader, Blondie. I checked both ends of the matrimonial question mark. I'm a bug for thoroughness. Linda Paris of Brockton, Massachusetts. No such she-animal. Now, what's the real name, Blondie?
Mary Ranceroff.
A working girl.
A wage slave.
Department store ribbon counter?
No, I'm a manicurist.
You're putting on quite a big show here at Jubilee Villa. Where'd you get the wardrobe? And the $55 a day?
My savings.
Your pitch to snag a rich husband.
It's just as easy to love a rich man.
Touché. All right, assignment completed. Pay me off and kiss me goodbye.
No.
No?
I still want to know about Stuart.
Like you, he's fortune hunting.
Oh. Well, you see...
You go for him. Nevertheless, and notwithstanding. Okay, then. I'll stick around a while. On the day I go, you can call me the guy who murdered Cupid. I didn't buck Stuart Stoner right away. I made a study of him first from afar. Watched his behavior like a guinea pig behind glass. A guinea pig with a pencil-lined mustache. I watched him whack a tennis ball. Well, an ace. I joined in the gallery applause. I watched him elbow up to the oval bar in the cafe lounge. Much too green in the gills for an athlete and a haunted look around his eyes, like sleep came tough. And ordering the type of drink guaranteed to drown anyone's sorrow.
Steve, another one of the same. Double.
I watched him playing cards in the casino. A two-handed game for stakes that could lift the national debt in Pongo Pongo.
Well, that beats me. Guess it's not my night.
Well, better luck tomorrow.
That's what you said yesterday. I'm afraid I'm a little short of cash.
Oh, check is fine, Stoner. And if you're overdrawn at the bank, an IOU's just as good.
A $6,000 loss for the afternoon's play. But what made it especially interesting for me was the face of the winner. I knew the face. I'd seen it around, on the streets and in the rogues gallery. Lou Latimer, a conman, card sharp, and plain crook. The question I asked myself was, why was a card sharp accepting IOUs from a phony vacationer posing as a son of wealth? Latimer worked like a cop worked. He checked the pedigree of every sucker he sat down to cards with. Latimer had to know that Stuart Stoner was a made-up name. So why was Latimer accepting paper instead of cash? That evening, after a supper orgy of borscht and baked herring, I tackled Stuart Stoner in person. He was sprawled on a hammock, letting the supper digest. Evening.
Hello.
Craig's the name. Barry Craig. You, don't feel sociable?
Frankly, I don't.
That's a surprise.
Why is it surprising?
I've watched you around the clock. Tennis, cards, and chit-chat. I've seldom seen a more gregarious and sociable guy.
Well, maybe it's a question of the kind of company.
That remark meaning?
You interpret it.
You draw the line where I'm concerned.
Now, if you don't mind...
You want to be alone?
Look, Mr. Craig, I've an absolute right...
Don't let your thermometer rise, Buster. Who warned you off me?
Why do you say that?
Because that's my guess about our unfriendly little situation. So who was it?
Oh, friend of mine.
Your card partner, Latimer? What did Latimer tell you? That I was an unsavory character or something?
You're very astute. All right, he warned me that you were, well, some kind of operator. Underhanded, a type that...
Works vacation resort.
Words to that effect, yes.
What if I now told you Latimer was describing himself?
I'd expect you to say that.
You would?
Latimer also told me you'd lie if trapped, that you'd reverse everything. That you were clever like that.
Look, Buster, Latimer's a card sharp and a crook. And let's settle a question of my veracity once and for keeps. I'm a detective. Here, squint your eyes at my credentials.
The, badge is authentic?
Did Latimer also warn you that I'd flash a phony chicken inspector's badge?
I'm confused.
So am I. What particularly confuses me is why a smart boy like Latimer would collect your worthless IOUs.
My worthless...
You're here using an alias. The name Stuart Stoner is made up. You've been handing a doll named Linda Paris a line of bunk. You let the impression circulate that you're loaded, filthy rich. But the odds are 100 to 1 you haven't even got cash enough to pay your board bill. You were saying?
I have nothing to say. Don't please heckle me anymore. I'm spinning.
Yeah, you are. In a steaming sweat, and your eyes rolling. You subject to fits?
No. no fits. Just every now and then a feeling of suffocation, like now I blank out.
Stoner. Blank out he did, big. Eyes staring blindly and not a flutter to him, hardly a pulse. And his face contorted in ugly red folds, like it was an outside picture of some deep agony inside. I left him as he was and went for help. The house doctor had been gone for almost 20 minutes before Stoner could put words together coherently.
Please, don't broadcast what you saw tonight.
You seemed to slip into a fog then, Stoner. I got the feeling your eyes were seeing sights you were trying to shut out.
My eyes were seeing sights?
The eyes of memory, let's say. Like you were looking over your shoulder into yesterday. Like you were an amnesiac. What's in yesterday that gets you by the throat, Stoner?
You're talking talk I don't understand.
Stuart Stoner, you call yourself. Well, what's your right name?
Some other time, huh? If you insist on this sort of weird interrogation right now, I just want to go to bed.
Want help getting upstairs?
No, I want nothing from you.
I'll help Stuart to his room. Hello, Stuart.
Margot.
The house doctor told me you'd fainted. I came as soon
Introduce me, Stoner.
Mr. Craig, Margot Swift.
Hello.
Mr. Craig?
You want him, lady? He's all yours.
Margot, if I can just have your arm.
I watched them move away slowly, her arm around his waist and a love light in her eyes. A tightly trussed look to her figure, coal black hair, colored gypsy kerchiefs around her neck, and a look of experience to her. Older than Stuart, but you'd need her birth certificate to prove it. She was that preserved. Linda and Margot, blonde and brunette. Stoner was doing okay with the ladies. A while later, in my room, while wrestling with a knot in my tie as a prelude to showering before bed, I found a typewritten note propped against my bureau mirror. The management regrets the need to terminate your stay due to a prior reservation made for room 211. Room 211 was my room. There was a deadline noted on the bottom of the eviction note. We would appreciate possession of room 211 by 9 p.m. 9 p.m. was 1 minute away. Correction. It was 9 p.m. I acted calm in the emergency. I tore up the note. That night I had a crazy dream. I dreamed there was a load of iron hanging from the ceiling like a chandelier, hanging on a line with my head, ready to drop if the length of wire holding it ever snapped. I lay there making book the wire wouldn't snap. I was wrong. It did snap. When the iron dropped, I promptly stopped dreaming. Wake up from a midsummer's night's dream, you can find yourself in strange surroundings. I imagined I found myself on the bottom of a lake. But that was too crazy, even for midsummer. What was a fact was, I The lake lay around me only ankle height. I was plopped in reeds that were taller than me. The kind of reeds you find around the edge of country lakes. I had water in my nose and ears, and a stagnant pool of slop in my stomach. If I survived, I'd need a stomach pump. I lay where I was, listening to owl hoots. The owl had hooted himself hoarse before I became aware of the lump on my head. What had actually happened dawned on me very slowly. I'd been slugged senseless in room 211, carried to a nearby lake and tossed in. Attempted murder. Somebody was very careless about whether I lived or died. When I was up to it, I had questions to put to the friendly management of Jubilee Villa. The guy managing Jubilee Villa looked like a wax museum exhibit. Skin you'd hate to touch unless you were a fellow zombie. And horn-rimmed glasses with lenses so thick his eyes magnified into the size of golf balls. A brass nameplate on the desk read Otto Henser. His attitude towards me was downright contemptuous.
Mr. Craig, you expect me to give credence to this fantastic story.
I do expect.
Mr. Craig, you suffer from sunstroke.
I wear a visor cap in the sun.
Well, then it is too much to drink. A man with your imagination should never drink.
I've been on buttermilk since I arrived here. Look, Henser, I don't imagine being slugged and thrown into a lake.
Well, then at least thank your stars that you are alive.
No fault of my assailant's. My guess there is he didn't figure I'd land in a shallow bed.
Then you insist on this preposterous story.
At the top of my lungs. Someone in Jubilee Villa resents my being around. I'm a meddler. There's some scheme afoot and... Wait.
Yes, Mr. Craig.
The management of Jubilee Villa, that's you, wanted me out of the place at 9 p.m. tonight. Why, Henser?
A prior reservation for room 211.
Sure that's the only reason?
It is the reason, of course.
I didn't comply with the vacate request. I went to bed, and from there I was forcibly evicted. I woke up in a lake.
Mr. Craig, there is no connection between our simple request that you give up your room and this hallucination.
I'm getting awfully tired of you insinuating I'm a nut.
All right, then. I will accept your story.
And your explanation of it on that basis?
A prowler. There have been other incidents, come to think of it. A trespasser entered your room. You were assaulted.
And carried a half-mile from my room to the lake.
Mr. Craig, the criminal mind is something unpredictable. There is no logical pattern.
Paul, you've sure been trying to sell me one idea after another, Henser. Why?
Because I'm perplexed. Like you are perplexed. I think one thing and then I think another.
I see. Right now, Henser, I'm thinking one thing.
And what is that?
That you could be a grade A 14-carat phony. The next day, I let the con man in card shop Lou Latimer tell me a few lies.
Man has a right to live down his past, Craig.
No question.
I had a few brushes with the law once. Sure, I don't deny it.
You served a few sentences?
One sentence.
Pardon the slander.
I'm a changed man today. Pillar of the community.
San Quentin community?
Oh, the way you cops love to ride a guy.
Beastly of us.
Look, I'm a respectable businessman today.
What business?
Salesman.
Selling bunco?
Machine tools.
What are you doing here at Jubilee Villa?
Vacationing.
With a deck of cards in every pocket?
I don't play cards the same old way.
Meaning?
I play for pastime.
For profit.
So I play to win. Who doesn't?
Which brings me to a basic question.
What?
An IOU. I saw Stuart Stoner give you a $6,000 piece of paper.
I won it fairly.
Even supposing you did. How come you're accepting paper from a masquerader?
A what?
A masquerader. The name Stuart Stoner is an alias. The young man is here representing himself fraudulently.
Oh, wait a minute, Craig. Stoner's loaded. He's from a rich clan. The Stoners of Milwaukee.
He is not. That's only a cardboard front. Stoner is a phony. And you know it, Latimer.
How would I know it?
Because that's how you operate. Before skinning a sucker, you check every detail of his pedigree back to the day he was born. You know how much he's worth or how little, so you can judge how much to take him for. Well?
Well, what you say is a fact. That Stoner's a phony, then I'm in rook, huh? I'm holding worthless paper. Well, that's not me, huh?
It would appear. But I still wonder. Latimer.
What?
See the giant egg built in my skull? Up here?
Looks nasty.
Want to claim credit for it?
Oh, the way you try to cut me down.
You've some surface polish. You look distinguished in your Bermuda shorts. But you're a mug underneath. And a thug.
Look, chum, if this heckling session is over...
I've got another insult, killer.
Killer?
Until you convince me otherwise, I'll go on thinking you tried to drown me last night.
So long.
1 minute, Latimer.
Now what?
A token of my very high regard for you. Love either conquers all or it surrenders. My client, Linda Paris, born plain Mary Ransdorf, ran up the white flag.
I'm leaving for home after dinner tonight.
Goodbye to Jubilee Villa.
Yes, I'm all ready and packed.
Say goodbye to Stoney yet?
Oh, we had a long talk over breakfast.
And the gist of it?
He admitted to having assumed the name of Stuart Stoner.
What is his real name?
He couldn't say. Barry, he didn't seem to know.
Really offering himself as an amnesiac, huh? Look, Blondie, I'm here on your account. I can't follow your example, pack up, scram, and forget. Leave everything unresolved. I'm a cop, at heart and by profession. I want to know who, what, and why is alias Stuart Stoner. I want to know what Lou Latimer's game is, and where the management, Otto Henser, fits into the scheme.
And Margot.
Oh, I'm glad you brought her up. What about the Lady Margot?
She and Stuart were close when I first arrived. I suppose I cut Margot out. Stuart began to chase me.
Well, I can't blame him now.
I've seen Margot in clandestine meetings with that man Latimer down at Prippet Lake.
Anything else you've tucked away in your lovely mind as a significant detail?
Oh, yes. Henser kept trying to involve me with other male guests as if he...
To preserve Stoner for Margot, in line with a three-way partnership. Otto Henser, Latimer, and Margot.
I don't understand.
A three-way scheme connotes loot, wolves shearing a lamb. But where's the possible profit in Stuart Stoner? What's the bait for Henser, Latimer, and Margot? Stoner's a phony and masquerader, a deadbeat.
Maybe Henser, Latimer, and Margot don't actually know Stoner's a masquerader.
If they didn't know, impossible to believe as that is, they suckered themselves in some attempted badger game. They do know now. I told Latimer that Stoner was a phony. Now, do you want to quit or follow through?
I'm a fool not to mind my own... All right, what do we do?
Search every inch of Stoner's room and effects. You play lookout while I play burglar. The results of searching Stoner's effects were a little frightening. Later, in a woodsy hideout, Linda and I shivered over what we found.
Barry, it's fantastic.
Lengths of copper wire, all cut down to convenient size. The tools of a strangler.
I just can't believe
Then
it.
try believing Stoner's amazing collection of newspaper clippings. These. Mystery Strangler terrorizes East End. Dateline, Minneapolis. And this one. Strangler claims elderly victim. Dateline, Seattle. And these similar clippings. Dateline, New York, Boston, Shreveport.
For one man, too.
Operate east, north, west, and south, all over the map.
Yes, the scope of it.
But this isn't one man's autobiographic collection of himself.
It isn't?
The dates on the clips cover almost 4 years. They represent a lot of stranglings and a lot of stranglers. A lot of stranglers. Some of whom have been caught and jailed. I recognize a few of the cases.
Then?
This is just a collection of clippings. Fetish is the word, I think. The pleasure the collector, call him psychopath, gets comes from the clippings themselves, let's say. The joy in some other fellow's crime.
Stuart is a madman.
It would appear. A madman or... That's what somebody wants us to think. Mainly wants you to think.
Me?
So you'd scream and run. Glad to escape a fate worse than...
All this is part of a scheme?
Well, that's my surmise.
For what basis do you have?
The character of Henser, Latimer and Company. Thoroughgoing connivers who play to win. They knew the cop and me would sooner or later send me up to Stoner's room. This stuff was planted for me to find. Enough to disillusion me in Stoner, but not enough to pinch him. No real evidence of a crime or an actual criminal personality.
What now?
Well, let Henser, Latimer and Company horse themselves into believing they hold trumps. That you're scared off. That I'm disinterested in any further to do with a nut. We make our fond farewells.
We leave Jubilee Villa?
Officially only. Unofficially, we're still around. We're holed up somewhere with our eye on this place, watching to see the next move of the gang against Stoner.
But what can they want of Stewart?
I finally come to the conclusion about that. One, Stoner is an amnesiac. Isn't sure of who he is and where from, etc. Two, he is not a poor masquerader, but a rich one after all.
Stewart, rich?
Uh-huh. Dough, position. And a good marital catch for Margot. Also profitable game for Latimer to account for the IOUs. Also a Klondike for Henser. Otherwise, there'd be no reason at all for a plot.
Well, that means they know Stewart's true identity.
They do, but Stewart doesn't. So will you join me in hiding, doll? Where do you hide with a blonde? Not being able to find a treehouse, we settled for an auto camp a quick 2 miles from Jubilee Villa, adjoining cabins. After 2 days of keeping Jubilee Villa under surveillance, we finally got a look at how Henser, Latimer, and Margot planned to play their trump card. The kind of trap they had baited for a weak-minded Stoner. Sweet music in the cool of the evening piped into the grape arbor. The grape arbor set with intimate tables, a canopy of freshly cut flowers, a few picked guests, and the local parson. A marriage was taking place. Margot and Stoner, with Latimer and Henser there to give the bride away.
You're not going to let them get married.
Shouldn't I?
Shouldn't? Oh, Barry, you're teasing.
Shh. I'll stop it, Blondie, but only at a strategic moment. The strategic moment came. The man in the high collar was reaching the end of his text.
If any man knows some reason why this pair should not be joined in the bonds of matrimony, let him now speak.
Speaking. Stop the wedding.
Most astounding.
I'd played cop at Jubilee Villa fine, but I hadn't played Cupid so good. Linda left in my company, as it turned out, and not in Stuart Stoner's. That is, alias Stuart Stoner.
Stewart is really Fabian Carlyle.
So Latimer confessed. The Carlyles of Honolulu. Big shipping family.
Will his amnesia...
Might disappear, might reoccur. I'm not a doctor.
Oh, I suppose I'll always regret it.
Letting the rich one get away?
Yes.
So why did you? Stoner looked like he could be coaxed all over again.
Oh, I'm sure I'll regret it.
Want a last piece of advice?
What, Barry?
When you marry, have 8 kids. With 8 kids around, Dow, you're too busy for regrets.
You have been listening to William Gargan in another exciting transcribed mystery drama from the adventures of Barry Craig, confidential investigator. Tonight's story, Midsummer Lunacy, was written by John Robert. Next week, it's the strange story of Blood Money, about which Barry Craig has this to say.
In next week's story, Blood Money, an Oriental rug dealer finds himself as snug as a bug in a casket when a killer comes calling with gold in his eye. Good night, folks. See you next week.
The National Broadcasting Company has just brought you an NBC Radio Network production with William Gargan, starring as Barry Craig, confidential investigator, directed by Arthur Jacobson. Also heard Hilary Hall as Linda, Alice Backus as Margot, Tony Barrett as Latimer, George Neese as Stewart, and Herb Ellis as Henser. Eddie King speaking. Within the next 20 seconds, a fire will break out somewhere in the United States. Lives may be lost, property damaged, homes or buildings destroyed. Yes, there are 4,600 fires in America each day of the year. They kill 11,000 persons and disfigure or severely burn thousands more. The unfortunate part of this picture is that most of these fires could have been avoided. For example, 90% of all fires which start in the home can be traced to human carelessness. By obeying a few simple rules of fire prevention from now on, you and I can protect ourselves and our families from this devastating menace. Rule 1 is don't smoke in bed or discard lighted cigarettes carelessly. Rule 2, clean out old newspapers, magazines, and other inflammable debris. Rule 3, promptly repair defective wiring as soon as you notice it. Fire won't wait until tomorrow. Rule 4, use only those cleaning fluids which will not burn. And last but not least, be careful with matches. Keep them out of the reach of small children. Remember, it doesn't pay to gamble with fire. The odds are against you every time. There's another exciting Dragnet adventure tonight on most NBC radio stations.
Tired of the everyday routine? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all?
We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. Escape, brought to you by your Richfield gasoline dealer and the Richfield Oil Corporation of New York, marketers of Richfield gasolines, motor oils, and other petroleum products. Look for the Richfield Eagle on the cream and blue puffs.
Tonight, we escape to the headhunter backcountry on the island of New Guinea, and the story of two men trapped there with a beautiful but treacherous woman. As Jules Archer tells it in Two Came Back.
Suppose this big guy, 6'5", grabs your hand and says,
"You're my pal, Johnny. There's $1 million jackpot and I'm cutting you in."
And suppose this blonde number, all curves and green eyes, leans up soft and murmurs,
Johnny, you're bad. Like me. I like you bad. Like me.
And suppose this blonde number, all curves and green eyes, waits until his big back is turned and then leans up again. It can get to be a problem, you know what I mean? A problem. By the time we'd passed over the Golden Gate and were headed out over the Pacific to the west, I could see this business of Gabe and Lily and me was strictly for the squirrels, and I wanted no part of it. There was no backing out now. I'd tried that for a week before takeoff, and it hadn't worked.
Johnny, don't talk crazy. You're my friend, aren't you? Aren't you?
Sure, Gabe. Sure I'm your friend, but I don't want to go, that's all.
Oh, you gotta go, Johnny. It's $1 million strike, I tell you. Oh, and after what you've done for me, I gotta let you in. I gotta.
You really ought to come, Johnny.
Well, I don't know. But I did know. I knew that $1 million strike or no $1 million strike, this was the time for me, John Walker, to stay home. You see, it was all because this pal, this Gabe, had been my sergeant on New Guinea. We were doing guerrilla mop-up work. Rugged duty, what with the Japs scattered all over thousands of miles of interior and all, when Gabe disappeared, just plain vanished. We all figured the guy had caught one and was dead. Lieutenant reported him missing in action. We forgot about it. Then one morning, about 3 weeks later, he shows. Not a scratch, not a word about where he's been or why or what. Well, they were all for shipping him back to Guam for a desertion trial, but Gabe, being a real rough soldier and all, being the kind of guy we needed bad right then, they decided to chuck the book for the time being and keep him on. It was, like I say, guerrilla mop-up work. And a couple of nights later, we were heading down this trail when a machine gun nest went off right in our faces. We all hit the ground excepting Gabe. He dropped to one knee and sprayed the trees with his Browning. A big guy, he stood out like a pinwheel on the 4th of July. Yep, Gabe caught one. I saw the BAR fall out of his hands, and down he went. I wriggled through the kunai grass and onto the jungle trail and got him by his collar and... Now, why go into it? I was a hero, I guess. I saved his life. And what did it get me?
Baby.
Trouble. It was in the spring of 47 that Gabe's letters finally caught up with me. I was in New York then. He was in Frisco. At first, I thought it was, well, just the old hoorah, but I was his buddy for keeps because I'd saved his life. But one of the letters had a plane ticket and a C-note along with a line about, I'm going to let you in on something big if you'll just come out to the coast. So I thought, maybe the guy's got something. I caught the plane, and the next day I found myself walking down this empty street in Frisco with an address in my hand. And a real funny feeling in my head that I ought to turn around and go back home.
Well. Oh.
Hello.
Looking for somebody?
Yeah.
Who?
Oh, it doesn't matter. I see I got the wrong address.
Uh-huh.
Hey, that's a real slick housecoat you got on it.
What's this? Oh, no, it's just an old thing, you know.
Well, on you, it looks like $1 million.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What address was it you were looking for?
Oh, 403.
This is 403.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Does Gabor Krilovich live here?
My husband.
Oh.
Uh-huh. Gabe! For you! A man.
Yeah? What does he want?
I can't imagine.
Well, why... Oh, Johnny!
Hey, Gabe!
Oh, Johnny boy. So you got here, huh?
Sure.
Oh, gee, am I glad to see you.
Gabe, you're looking good.
Hey, so are you. Look at that guy.
Is this the Johnny you've been talking so much about?
Yeah, Lily, this is Johnny. Johnny, meet Lily. Lily, Johnny. Hey, didn't know I got married, did you, guy?
No, Gabe. No, I didn't know you'd got married.
Yeah. Not a bad little dish for a big slob like me, huh?
Congratulations.
Shall we come in out of this doorway?
Yeah, let's do that. Oh, Johnny, you're your guy. You know, Johnny saved my life, honey. Did I tell you?
1,000,000 times.
And that's how I met Lily. Well, that night we sat up talking until the sun came up. I was wondering just what she was trying to pull. Marrying this bohunkus with his big feet and dirty undershirt and all when he hauled out the little leather bag and dumped the contents all over the table.
Hey, what do you think of this, Johnny?
Gabe, that gold?
That's just samples. Where that came from, there's enough more to make us all millionaires, Johnny.
You're kidding.
No. Hey, remember in New Guinea when I went AWOL?
Yeah.
That was just before Johnny saved my life, honey. Did I ever tell you about Johnny saving my life?
Yeah,
Gabe, about the gold, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, when I went AWOL, I thought I'd just do a little fishing or something. You know, I was kind of tired of the war. You understand?
Yeah, I understand, Gabe.
So I took off into the hills. Oh, Johnny, that is some country. Believe me, wild but purty, real purty. And what sunsets. You never saw such sunsets.
Gabe,
huh?
The gold.
Oh, yeah. Well, I seen this quartz stuff up there in the hills, and some of it was glittering. And thought, this is it. I made me a map. When I came back down, I can find it again without any trouble. That is, we can find it.
You and me?
And Lily, the three of us. Lily wouldn't want to miss all that adventure, would you, baby?
I should say not.
Ain't she cute? Ain't she? You know, every time I look at her, Johnny, I wonder, now why would a cute little dish like that marry a big slob like me?
Because you're so manly, sweetmeats.
Sweetmeats? Did you hear that, Johnny? Ain't she the limit? Sweetmeats, me!
Well, it didn't take any great genius to figure that she'd smelled money when she married him. It also didn't take any great genius to figure that Lily was going to disrupt some harmony. Now, I've never seen myself as a wife stealer, you know? So by the time that Gabe had bought all the stuff for the trip, I was ready to duck out, money or no. But Gabe Gabe wouldn't hear of it. And, well, you know how it is when you put things off. All of a sudden, I wake up to realize that we're flying over the Golden Gate and on out west over the Pacific. And I thought, oh, this is no good. And you know something? I was right. San Francisco to Honolulu. From Honolulu to Guam. From Guam to Moresby. And all the time she's leaning up against me with perfume and all, and those big green eyes. Moresby to Salamaua. Salamaua to Wewak. And Gabe has given me the happy stuff about how glad he is his best friend and his wife like each other so much. Then down over the palm groves, the native Lakatoys, sago-thatched huts, down, and there we were. New Guinea. Gold. Trouble.
Yeah, going up the Sepik River, eh, mates?
Yeah. Oh, you better give us a couple of pounds of that powdered milk there.
Sepik River. That's a rum country, that. Another patrol officer got done in up there last week.
Done in?
Oh, hey, how about some .45 ammunition?
Right you are. Yes, done in. 8 hunters.
Gabe, you didn't tell me there were headhunters.
Huh? Oh, don't you worry, honey. You got me and Johnny to look out for you.
Well, it's no bloody business of mine, mate. Here. This the ammo you want?
Yeah, that's it.
No bloody business of mine, but I wouldn't take a woman up into that country. Might make it worse.
Worse? What's worse than getting your head hung up on a pole? Gabe, I want to go home.
Oh, now don't you worry, honey.
Of course, a woman would be a prize up there, lady. I mean, they wouldn't kill her. Odds are they'd make a queen out of her. Wouldn't touch her, just worship her like.
That's good?
Well, that's up to you.
Well, I don't like it.
An hour later, packs bulging with supplies, we were off on the trail that wound up over the Purple Mountains, the Prince Alexander Range, and on toward Mai Mai. Gabe carried the heavy floatboat bag topped with a thick duffel of provisions. I followed, carrying 2 packs, one on top of the other. Lily brought up the rear, carrying a light pack of clothing, mostly her own. It was rough going that first day. Gabe didn't seem to mind. But me, my feet started to cave in after the first 10 miles. It was all right with me when Lily squawked.
Gabe!
What?
Let's stop.
Well, it's only 3:30, huh?
Let's stop, Gabe.
Another couple of hours, we can be over the first mountain.
Mañana, Gabe. My back is breaking.
Okay, honey.
He lowered his big pack and then took off into the jungle.
Hey, where are you going?
We'll need some firewood.
Oh, Johnny. I'm tired.
Yeah, me too. Oh, it feels good to get those off. Oh, whoever heard of carrying 2 packs at once?
Good old Gabe.
Yeah.
Come here, Johnny.
What do you want?
I know what you think about me, Johnny. You think I'm bad. It's only because I'm bored. Unhappy and bored. I could be a one-man woman, Johnny.
No. I'm glad to hear about
For
it.
the right man, Johnny.
Sure.
For you, Johnny.
I don't think Gabe would think it's such a hot idea.
Maybe he wouldn't have to, Johnny.
Meaning?
Maybe after we get the gold, he'll fall off a cliff. Or he gets eaten up by a tiger or stepped on by an elephant.
There's no elephants in New Guinea.
Don't be dull, Johnny.
I gotta be, Lily. I gotta be. You're real poison.
Oh, Johnny.
You're real bad poison.
Mm-hmm. I'm bad. So are you, Johnny.
Yeah. You know, that looks real funny. Lipstick in a jungle.
You think so? Looks even funnier on you.
The dude, baby.
Here comes Gabe.
I forgot my gun. Always like to carry a gun in the jungle. Never know when you're gonna run into a snake. Huh, Johnny?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, Gabe.
Yeah. You never know.
For years, scientists have been improving your car's performance by making gasoline better and better. But there's one discovery scientists have made that's different from all the rest. It's a gasoline component called xylene. Xylene is one of the highest Antonov gasoline components ever discovered. And today, every gallon of Richfield gasoline contains this supercomponent xylene. Xylene in Richfield gasoline gives higher than ever Antonov performance. You get that eager pickup in traffic, that surging power that puts you out in front every time. What's more, you have a choice of two great Richfield gasolines with xylene. Your Richfield dealer offers Richfield High Octane at regular price for the average motor. Or Richfield Ethyl. Ethyl at its best for knockless performance in the highest compression motors. Test Richfield gasoline with xylene in your car for just 1 week. We know what your choice will be. Tomorrow, stop where you see the Richfield Eagle on the cream and blue pumps. And now we return you to Escape.
Well, there it was. The lady wanted me to kill her husband and live a life of pleasure on our ill-gotten gains. Very dramatic situation, except for a minor point. She had figured that I shouldn't kill him until after he'd found the gold mine. And another minor point being that I was his best friend. But you know how it is. Life. Best friends always kill best friends. Oh, sure. But while this sordid drama unreal, we had to hike through that lousy jungle. Hike, and my feet were killing me. The 6th day was the worst one of the trip. We were wading through mangrove swamps thick with huge, thirsty leeches. There were giant mosquitoes that swarmed around us in clouds, and every time I slapped one, I killed 10. Oh, sure, we had mosquito lotion. They loved it.
Gabe,
What?
when are we going to get to the river? Gabe.
After a while, honey. After a while.
After a while, turned out to be 9 days more. Then we reached the Sepik. A sluggish, muddy river winding like a serpent through huge, green-furred mountain ranges.
And now we ride.
We blew up the collapsible boat, loaded all of our stuff aboard, and shoved off. I took the bow, Gabe the stern. Lily sat amidships on a pile of sacks. Easy, Gabe, will you? This baby was designed for 2 people, not 3. We're drawing a lot of water.
Don't worry, Johnny. This is flood season. And with flood season, the water's high. We can carry 3, but later it won't work. Then it'll be only 2.
Yeah, but we'll be back before then.
Sure, Johnny.
From time to time when we camped, Lily would give me the business. She didn't seem to care whether Gabe caught on or not. I cared. I cared a whole lot. And Gabe, I didn't know yet what it was that he was feeling.
You saved my life, Johnny. I owe you a lot.
Maybe that's what it was. But one afternoon we camped early and went for a swim. I was paddling around. The water felt good. Abe and Lily got out and were drying off when all of a sudden I looked up. It was Gabe. He was standing on the bank, not 20 feet away, with his .45 pointed right at me. I dove. I dove as deep as I could. I could still hear him shooting. I stayed down until I thought my lungs were going to pop. I surfaced. Gabe was waving at me and yelling.
Come on, Johnny. Come on.
You're crazy, Gabe. Don't shoot anymore.
I'm not shooting at you. Come on.
So I came out. Then I looked around. And there, a few feet beyond where I'd been, was a tremendous crocodile with blood streaming out of him.
When you dove, I thought sure he had you.
Yeah.
Why'd you dive?
I don't know. I must have lost my head.
Gabe saved your life, Johnny.
Yeah.
I guess that evens us up, huh?
Yeah, I guess so, Gabe.
No, I don't owe you a thing.
That's right.
But you're still my pal, huh, Johnny?
Well, you figure that one. We kept on going until we came to a place where a narrow, rocky tributary came boiling down a big mountain and into the Pacific. This was where we started walking again. The goal was up that fast little creek, and we could never paddle against that current. So we folded the boat, shouldered it and the packs, and started climbing. For a day and a half, we scrambled up that mountain by the fast little stream. Then we came to a wall of gray and white rock. Gabe said, "This is where the goal is." And he was right. Holy schmagoli, that gold. Sure, we had to work to get it out of the rock. Well, in 6 days, we took out nearly $500,000 worth. We could have taken more, but the stuff was heavy, you know. No, you don't know. You've never seen that much pure gold. Well, just take my word for it. 6 days later, we started down the mountain. Then, when we made camp by the river that night, Lily waited until Gabe was sound asleep. Yeah?
Now, Johnny.
Now what?
Now you can kill him.
Oh, go away, will you? I want my sleep.
Do it now, Johnny.
Look, baby, I don't want to kill anybody. I'm a rich man. Will you get smart?
Smart? You get smart, Johnny.
What do you mean by that?
3 ways isn't good enough on the split. I want it 2 ways.
Oh, nuts.
And if you will kill him, I'll get him to kill you. After all, Johnny, you're the serpent in our happy marriage.
Shut up, will you? Listen.
I don't hear anything except the water.
Yeah. Well, a minute ago, you couldn't hear that for Gabe snoring. They came in the morning. While we were loading up, they came out of nowhere.
Get down!
What's that?
Elves! There it is!
We couldn't see them, but we could tell from the arrows where they were. We laid low and tried to make every shot count. It wasn't long before we saw they really meant business. They weren't going to go away.
Johnny! Yeah! We haven't got enough ammunition to last more than 10 minutes at this rate.
Oh, that's just great.
Can you keep them off that long?
Why? Why? What are you going to do?
I'm gonna get down to the stream and load up the boat.
You're crazy, Gabe. You can't make it down that stream.
Sure we can. It's that or end up with your head on a pole.
Okay, Gabe.
All right. Now cover me. I'll hear a shot, you and Lily come back.
All right. The longest 10 minutes of my life. Lily lay there beside me. She was plenty scared, and she had every right to be. Those arrows were ugly. Big and jagged and sharp.
Johnny, those arrows are getting closer.
Will you stop jiggling my arm?
I can't help it.
Look, how am I going to shoot if you jiggle my arm?
Suppose they get Gabe.
That'll be tough.
Yeah.
How come you worry about Gabe at a time like this?
Gabe, Schmabe, I'm worried about the gold.
Oh, you dear, sweet girl. Will you stop jiggling my arm?
So sorry.
3 minutes. 4. 5. I kept firing.
Have you any idea what you're shooting at? I mean it. You just point it at the grass and go bang.
Will you shut up?
I should have stood in Frisco.
You should have stood in Frisco.
Oh, don't talk. Just keep shooting.
How can I keep shooting when you keep jiggling my arm? A nasty little thought crawled into my mind. Here I was up to my ankles in arrows, and there was Gabe with a boat, $500,000, and a downhill ride to freedom. Just suppose... Lily must have gotten the same idea.
I'm going to go help Gabe, Johnny. He may need help.
Stay here.
No. Goodbye, Johnny.
Why did I stay? I don't know. I lay there and kept shooting and kept thinking, oh, you sucker, they'll go off without you. But I stayed. Came 10 minutes, I heard it. Gabe's signal. The boat was already in the water, all loaded to go. Gabe faced the jungle, his automatic ready. Lily was crouching on the sand.
Good boy, Johnny. Thanks.
You all set?
Yeah. There's one thing I didn't count on.
What's that?
With all this gold in the boat, it'll only carry 2 people now.
Okay, Gabe, okay, I get it. Only one thing. Leave me your gun and ammo, will you? I want to die hard.
Wait a minute, Johnny, wait a minute. Maybe we ought to ask Lily who she thinks ought to stay. Maybe she'd rather I stay.
No, Gabe.
How about it, Lily? Who do you want to stay?
That's a tough question. I know. You both got guns. Why don't you fight a duel for it? It'll only take a second, and the winner gets me and the gold. The one who stays behind will be dead, so he won't have to be tortured by headhunters.
Oh, she's pretty cute, huh, Johnny?
Oh, yes, indeed.
Get in the boat, Johnny.
No, Gabe, look, go. You go. Look, now's your chance for a clean start with
Get in the boat, Johnny, or I'll kill you.
You sure this is how you want it, Gabe?
This is how I want it. Yeah, that's it, Johnny. Now, you all set?
Yeah, Gabe. I'm all set.
I hope you can get us down, Johnny. It's an awful fast stream.
Don't you worry about it, Lily.
Why not?
Because it works this way. If either Johnny or me stays here, he gets tortured and then gets his head cut off. If you stay here, you can be a queen. You can live. They won't even touch you. You'll rule a whole tribe all by yourself.
Gabe! What are you talking about?
Stay away from the boat, Lil.
No, Gabe, let her get in, will you? I'll get out.
Sit down, Johnny, or I'll
Come
shoot.
on.
Sit down, I said.
Gabe!
Johnny saved my life once. And you. All you did was try to get him to kill me. Anyhow, I'm the only man who can get this boat down the rapids. And for that, I need Johnny.
All right. Go. Get out, both of you. I'll be a queen. And I'll love it. And I'll be worth millions. Millions!
Yeah. Yeah, I knew you'd say it, Lily. I knew you'd understand.
Here's an amazing fact for every motorist. The film of oil in your motor is often no thicker than a spider's web. But that thin film is all that saves your motor from destruction. That's why it's important for you to use the best motor oil you can get. We suggest Rich Lube, all-weather motor oil. Rich Lube is refined 100% from the finest Pennsylvania crude obtainable. Rich Lube protects your motor with a tough elastic oil film that holds its body even under the terrific heat of summer driving. At the same time, it draws excess heat away from moving engine parts. Moreover, Rich Lube, the Pennsylvania premium motor oil, contains special chemicals that clean your motor of harmful deposits as you drive. Yes, it cleans as it lubricates. So keep your motor clean. Keep your motor young. See your Richfield gasoline dealer tomorrow. Ask him to change your oil to Rich Lube all-weather motor oil. Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and tonight has presented Two Came Back by Jules Archer, adapted for radio by Savage Dollar. Featured in tonight's cast were Joan Banks as Lily, Stacey Harris as Johnny, Paul Freese as Gabe, and Ben Wright as the traitor. Special music arranged and played by Ivan Ditmars. Next week.
You are lost in the wildest mountains of Idaho, surrounded by a raging forest fire which is swiftly bringing a horrible death closer and closer to you. A death from which there is no escape.
Next week at this time, the Richfield Oil Corporation of New York invites you to escape with an exciting story of love and murder in the wilds of Idaho, as Anthony Ellis tells it in The Red Forest. Be listening. Goodbye then, until the same time next week when once again we offer you Escape. Tom Hanlon speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The Russia House.
All packed up, Nicky.
Almost.
Get a move on. The reception's turning into quite a party.
Yeah, I know. It's all joy and glasnost up there, isn't it?
Oh, what's the matter? Sales down or something?
Worse than I thought. I told the governor to save his powder until the Moscow Book Fair. Go in with the book fair, I said, and we're clean up. Go in with the audio fair and we're dead.
And you were right, eh?
Of course. The Ruskies love a book, but audio scares them rigid. They aren't geared for it.
No, you're probably right. Here, sorted yourself out a bit of crumpet, have you?
In Moscow? Don't be stupid.
So who's your Katerina Orlova?
Who?
That's what it says on her lapel badge.
Who are you talking about?
Just there, by your sound booth.
Oh, not her again.
You always had taste, Nicky, I'll give you that.
She was hanging around here yesterday. I wonder what she's after.
Wouldn't be Nicky Lander, would it?
I wouldn't mind if it was.
Never change, do you dirty little beggar?
Oh, piss off, Barney. There, That's the lot. Now,
Excuse me, sir?
can I help you, miss?
Yes, please. Are you the gentleman from Abercrombie and Blair?
Not here, dear.
Mr. Barley Blair?
No, dear. Lander. Nicky Lander.
But this is Mr. Barley Blair's stand.
No, it's my stand. Abercrombie and Blair's the one next door.
But that stand is empty.
That's right.
It was empty also yesterday.
It's been empty all week.
But where is the man they call Barley?
I do not know, madam.
I must speak with him. It is most urgent.
Look, I can't help you. His company booked the stand, but they didn't turn up. Sorry.
Please, sir, you must be very kind and help me.
Help you? How?
A Soviet friend of mine has written a creative and important work of literature, a great novel with an important message for all mankind.
Oh, yeah.
It concerns actions before words. It rejects the gradualism of perestroika.
Nice.
In spite of glasnost and the supposed liberalism of the new guidelines, my friend's novel cannot yet be published in the Soviet Union.
I see.
Mr. Barley has undertaken to publish it with discretion.
Lady, if your friend's novel is published by Abercrombie and Blair, believe me, you can be assured of total secrecy.
I think I must trust you, Mr. Lando.
Nicky, dear.
Please, if you love peace, you must take my friend's manuscript back to England and give it to Mr. Barley Blair. Only to Mr. Barley Blair. It is a gift of trust.
Where is it then, this manuscript? In your carrier bag?
Yes.
Give it to me then. The whole bag.
Here.
Easy now, that's it. That's the way. Now you've brought me an official farewell gift on the last evening of the fair. Okay?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I shall treasure it as a souvenir of your lovely city. Now give me a nice, friendly Russian kiss. A formal sort.
It is very dangerous for you. You must believe in what you're doing.
What do I call you? Yekaterina, Katya, or what?
Katya.
Going to the official reception, are we, Katya?
No.
How about a spot of dinner with me, then?
Thank you, no, it is not convenient.
Pity.
My friend has made a great gesture. You will please make sure that Mr. Barley is aware of this?
I'll tell him. Don't worry.
This is a production of Lobato Studios, Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Is the sweetheart you married the husband you expected him to be? Has the war created new problems for you in your marriage? To answer these and other personal problems brought in by your friends and neighbors, ARID presents John J. Anthony, founder of the famed Marital Relations Institute, in a brand new program of daily sessions of kindly and helpful advice. Just as Mr. Anthony, by examples in this studio, is helping thousands of men and women solve their personal problems, ARID, too, is helping thousands to solve the important personal problem of underarm perspiration. ARID helps you avoid perspiration damage to clothes and safeguards friendships. Use ARID every day. It helps stop perspiration safely, and at the same time, ARID is a most effective deodorant.
Thanks very much for joining us tonight. Our next broadcast is next Sunday night, 18 August 2024. Come join us for a wide variety of entertainment, comedy, drama, westerns, terror, horror, a little bit of music. We have it all here, all from the golden age of radio. Until then, sleep tight.